How's it going, everybody?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Good. Evan just arrived about.
I'm doing pretty good.
I am the
What would you
reason
say?
why we were late. I don't know. I got here like maybe 1 minute before we were supposed to start.
So it's only been 10
It's
minutes.
all good.
That was a setup in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With
Props to
multi
these
mics.
boys. They got it set up. You already know.
But Evan brought some drinks, so he made up for that.
Yeah, you know, we
Very
gotta do what we
quickly.
can.
F in the chat. No, F's in the chat.
Oh,
So, gentlemen, just quickly, who is with us? Introduce yourselves, please, for the podcast. Everyone knows who I am. Still the same.
I am Evan. I've known Dane and Paulo both since freshman year. So, you know, we've been vibing. We've been out here. I don't know.
Yeah, Evan went to school with me, and I think I met you Elm 3rd floor, as all the OGs come from.
Oh yeah, the OG Flora. That's
But
the
Do you
original.
remember the first time we met?
I don't remember the first conversation we had, honestly. I think the first, I feel
Paulo.
like, yeah, definitely. I definitely like fully met you through Paulo. Like we had like, you know, said hi, whatever, like in the hall or
Yeah.
whatever, like freshman year. But, you know, you were on West Side. I was East Side. So it was a bit
True.
rough.
There
man.
was a big gang, little
Gang.
fun mentality. Dude, we didn't talk to your side of the floor. At least me and Nick didn't talk to your side of the floor at all costs. It was like
Yeah, it's like y'all had a separate stairwell, you know, you just
For
go
real.
down that boy. Like I might, you
yeah,
know.
that's how it was. But and then everyone, we've had Paulo on the podcast before, but Paulo, say hello.
Yo, what's up? What's up, guys?
He's back.
Yeah, I'm back. If you've seen the first podcast interview,
Then you're OG.
then yeah, you know who I am. But in case you haven't seen it, I'm Paulo. I was a student at Mines as well, and yeah, I paint stuff in my free time. That's my thing.
Incredible stuff, if I might say.
Whoa.
Very incredible stuff.
Whoa.
Don't
Okay.
gas him up.
All right, guys. Yeah, don't blow up my ego.
Bro, that's my job. What do you mean, bro? That's what I'm here for.
But
No.
speaking on your art, Paulo actually just finished something for a wedding that me and him are going to this Sunday.
Oh shoot! You guys gotta keep that on the down low, man.
It's on the DL?
Yeah, cause like, what
We
if
don't
the-
have to say who it is.
what if they're listening right now, dude?
Dude, then you just got outed. Sorry.
Oh,
Not
shoot.
really, though.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
Lamau.
See,
Yeah.
there we go. I fixed it. Congrats. You guys are great.
If
But
you're
yeah.
confused, that's a good thing. Don't worry.
Yeah, now you're like, wait, what? Art? Yeah, it's a full sculpture of Paulo. He sculpted himself, and that's the gift. But anyways, Evan, you're really into music, no?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a big audiophile. Like, especially like freshman year, I was deep into the EDM cuts. My tastes
Oh.
have varied, like
EDM
kind of
cuts?
transition, like EDM cuts, gone into alt rock,
Let's
and now it's
go.
moving back towards like '90s hip hop sort of thing. You know, I love listening to music. Like, when I'm at work, I'm listening to music all the time if I'm not talking
The
to
whole
someone.
time?
Yeah.
Paulo
Like-
told me that you're kind of like a fiend.
Yeah, I mean, like doing work, like I could read research while listening to music. Like reading, like and music, they do not conflict
How
in my
do you
brain,
do
dude. It's
it?
weird. I trained myself, but I don't know. It just keeps me going. You know, it's like it's the tempo.
If
I
you
don't
hear
know.
a song for the first time and you're like, let's say reading something, do you hear the music? Like, do you know the lyrics as well?
So the first time, it definitely distracts me. Yeah.
Okay,
Like
okay.
like it's hard. Like sometimes if I'm doing something tedious enough, I will like be discovering work like music.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, listening it to the first time, like trying to like feel it out, like
Right.
kind of listen to the background. But lyrics in general, I don't hear the lyrics of a song until like 3 months after it's on my playlist.
Okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
be real. Like it just, I don't know why. Like I was literally, I've had this song on my playlist for 2 years, and literally yesterday in the car, like while I was driving home, I was like, oh shoot, like this is a compelling song, dude.
Right?
Like I didn't even know. Like I listened to lyrics, like kind of was thinking about this story. I'm like, wow, like I don't know.
I think I heard a song recently from, it was either Linkin Park or Blink 182. And it was the first time, like you're saying, I actually heard the words. And I was like, wait, the song is about someone dying? And I was like, what? I was like singing it like it was hype for like so long.
Dude,
and I
right?
feel bad.
I've definitely done that before with like depressing message songs, but I mean, it's like it's hard to blame you if like the beat's
Right?
hype and is picking
Yeah.
up. You know, it's like, shoot.
I wonder
Like,
how
I'm
many
just
people actually
vibing
think
this.
about that. Like think about what the words are saying rather than like the rhythm, because I'm a rhythm guy.
Yeah, same. I know, like, it's weird because I believe, like, both my mom and my sister, they're definitely lyrics people. Like, if the lyrics don't sit well with them, they don't like the song, no matter how good it sounds. And to me, that's just, I don't know. I'm the opposite. Like,
Yeah,
it's
what?
all about the rhythm. Like, the lyrics could be golden, but if the rhythm isn't in the vibes and the sounds aren't catching me, then it's just.
I feel the exact same. And Paulo was saying that a big topic was what makes bad music.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we've talked about this a lot. I feel it always it somehow like tends to come up. You know, it's just like when we're talking about music, it's just one of those things.
Dude, when I was in the shower, the whole time I was trying to think of my answer. And I was like, because music can be so broad, right? I feel like you can take any, and this is my opinion, but I think you can take any rhythm, any beat, no matter how good or bad it like sounds at first, and make it good if you have like the right execution.
I feel
Is
like
that fair?
I feel like that could be fair. I mean, a lot of this is like weird once you get into genres too, because like I feel like with electronic music, I agree with that. Like, you know, you could kind of mold anything to whatever you want, and a lot of that is like directly reflective of like what the producer's putting in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. That kind of depends. Like, I feel like there could be like some rhythms. I guess in terms of rhythm itself, like pure percussion, maybe you're onto something there. I haven't thought about that. That's interesting because I feel like with certain like tone progressions, like it could be, or pitch progressions, it could be rough. Like it could be pretty rough. But
I don't know. The way that I interpreted the
yeah.
question was less mechanical based
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I think if you're producing a song and you have your mechanics down, then you can make anything sound good. But in my opinion, I feel like bad songs are from a lack of direction or like motivation behind who's creating the song. Now, I don't know, like, I came up with that on the fly, so I don't know how much concrete weight I have behind it, but
yeah. I mean, I feel like for me, and I feel like Paulo agrees with this to some extent, but for me, like, a lot of what makes a song bad for me is like, it ends up being the vibe and kind of the complexity as well. And it's weird to say complexity because when I think complexity, I think of like, oh, like you might think, oh, not too repetitive, not too this, not too that. But actually, repetitive songs can be extremely compelling. And some of my favorite songs are very repetitive.
Right.
And that's one thing that's really weird to kind of parse through is like looking at a song that you feel is bad, that's repetitive. Whereas looking at a song you think is good is repetitive. It's like the repetition isn't the problem. It's kind of like there are more layers than that. A lot of it could be like kind of like sounds playing off of each other, like and it just has to I feel like it has to put you somewhere mentally. Like if the song isn't like taking you somewhere mentally, even if it's like not that far off from where you are right now, like if it's not taking you anywhere, then it kind of just is lost on me.
That's a good point because I feel like you're saying with the repetitiveness, if it does take you somewhere when it comes to like that chorus line, right? If they keep repeating it like at the right moments, then it always takes you back, which I could totally see being why it would be like such a good song to listen to.
I feel like for my tastes, like a lot of what makes those repetitive songs good is like instrument choice and kind of like timbre as well. Like doing things like you might slightly detune a note, or even like playing with certain dynamics, like this is loud, it's loud here, soft here, or using these instruments together in like this way. That kind of really is like what forms it all together. The reason why, like, this kind of ties into the repetitive music I don't like, which is honestly a lot of like more formulaic pop. Like, I don't know if anyone likes formulaic pop. That's not me.
Yo, someone out there likes formula.
Right? I mean, it's the formula for a reason, right?
Right? Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, it feels so like just unoriginal, like not directed. And it feels like you could listen to a pop song, you've heard it like a 1,000 times before. And I like songs that it's like, oh, that's that song. Like, it sounds very much so that song.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a certain quality uniqueness.
A bit of funk, as some might say, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I
don't
love
know,
me some funk.
Some people, at least from what I've heard recently, they describe funk as not really like funky music, but like, I guess the vibe from a song, you know? Like, if a song is good, it's funky. And that doesn't mean it's like actually funk based.
That's interesting.
But it just means it's good. And
Yeah.
I thought that was so interesting because I was like,
That's
wait,
interesting.
I thought funk was something else entirely.
Yeah, funk is such an interesting genre for me. I feel like I describe it as if a song is making me want to move, like want to start popping, then it's funky.
Funky, yes.
Like that's really how I feel, honestly. For me, like music is it's gotta like, this is kind of sounds like kind of corny, but it's gotta put me in a vibe. It's gotta kind of like take me somewhere, put me in a certain place, make me feel a certain way. Some combination of those things. And it's a lot of it does come down to that. Like I was saying, like what I find in good music is a lot of different like instrumental choice and like timbre and dynamics and stuff like that, because I think those unique sounds kind of really they kind of give you some sort of context. Like you almost hear the sound and it puts you somewhere, whether it's like in some sort of western or some sort of like 1920s place, like whatever it is. I think that that fact is really cool, especially when it's used in modern music as kind of like a callback to like previous eras. I love that stuff.
True, that is always really good.
Yeah, like
But they
sampling.
I feel like I don't hear that much in much modern music. Like,
Right?
When it is used, it's always like super pleasant, but I feel like I can't find it in many songs.
That's the stuff I look for, honestly. Like I've been doing a dive into hip hop recently, and I've been looking at like certain artists like Tyler and like Vince Staples and Absol and stuff like that. And I really like, you know, sort of looking at, I like a lot of their music that's more sort of like either callbacks or just very soulful, very funky, like that kind of calls back to previous genres that isn't just like, you know, F-U-B, you know, like that stuff.
Yo,
that
what do you
stuff
mean?
has a right place, but for me, it's not like everyday type music. But
That's totally fair.
yeah, kind of what I was saying about like bad music for me, it ends up being like stuff like you know, formulaic pop. It's like it's a formula for a reason, right? Like a lot of people love this music, but for me that formula just isn't compelling. It's not unique. And it's not the fact that it's repetitive that makes it bad. Like that's, I feel like a big thing. Like a lot of people say like less complex music is, you know, less repetitive. I think those like are two completely different topics, because there's repetitive music that I absolutely love and I think is like very complex and very profound. And then there's a lot of repetitive music that's just very bad because it's like you're listening to the same thing and it's not really like doing anything for me.
Yeah, it doesn't really compel anything out of you. I don't know. I feel like even like you're saying, some simple music can be super effective and not repetitive at all. Like I feel like older music, the first one I think of, which I cannot remember the name, but it's about the devil with the fiddle, right? And how they have a fiddle off between like the guy who goes to hell and like fiddles off with the devil to get the golden fiddle. You know the song I'm talking about?
I do not.
I can't
I'm
remember
trying
the
to
name.
think. Can't remember.
But basically, the whole song is just a story, and it almost like, I mean, the chorus comes in like maybe 3 or 4 times, but the whole thing is pretty much like different words and just telling that whole and like painting the picture for you. And that's one of my favorite songs ever, and it's super simple, but really effective.
No, I agree. Simple music can be really good. I think for me, the biggest example of that is like whenever blues artists are doing like a solo performance where it's just them on an acoustic guitar, or, you know, or even just like just one guy with a loop table, like just using his voice, like
Dude.
that music can be so good.
Right?
Like, and it's obviously very simple because there's only one, like really one dimension in terms of like an instrument. I guess 2 if you consider their voice, which you definitely should. So a couple dimensions, but you know, it's not like they have a full like orchestra or big band or any of that sort of thing, but it can still be equally as kind of like complex or just as good to me.
And I always think, like, strangely enough, those kind of people, the people that usually do solo stuff, tend to come from like humble beginnings. You know, like they can't get all that extra other stuff, so usually those humble beginnings have like a sort of passion involved, and I feel like that comes out a lot in like their creative spirit. You hear it and you're like, whoa, like this guy's just got so much to say behind everything that he did, every single thing that he does, and he's doing it all himself. So
Very true.
I think that's pretty like, I don't know, motivational, I guess, if you were like into making your own music as well. But as a listener, I'm like, oh God, I should do something with my life.
And it makes you a better storyteller too. Like one thing I was saying like earlier too is like for me, I am not a lyrics person. Like I can be listening to a song and like it could be on my playlist for years and I just won't really know what the lyrics are saying, like the story of the song, until like one day it just hits me and I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, actually that's what they're saying. But even despite that, like those sorts of artists that kind of have like humble beginnings that you're talking about, I feel like they're just great storytellers, you know?
Yeah.
And it's either through like their playing, their technique on the instrument, or through like what they're telling you in their lyrics. And I think that, yeah, it can be super profound.
Have you found, I just thought about this recently. So my friend Baptiste, he's French, and every time he hears an American song, right? Sometimes I think it's just in his brain, he'll change the words, some of them. So like he'll sing a chorus for you and you'll be like, dude, that's not it. And then they're like, wait, what? It's been like years. Do you notice if that happens to you at all?
I think it does. I think it does happen to me. Oh, sorry, Andy. I think it does happen to me, but I don't know if it's because I started out with a language that wasn't English. Like I feel like even people who I've met over time that like have English as their native language also do the same. Where like they replace words with other words. Like for instance, in the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the chorus like is like the part that everybody remembers, but so it's also the part where if you get something wrong, you're just like, wait, that wasn't the word. Those weren't the lines.
Right?
What are you singing, dude? And then yeah.
And once you
make fun
make
of
it,
them.
yeah, once you make it in your head, right? Like you get the wrong word, but the phrase makes sense in your head. That's how it is forever. Like it will never sound.
Oh yeah.
It will never be whatever it's actually supposed to be.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that is so real. I'm a big culprit of that. I'll just belt out a chorus and just say like the wrong thing. Like I have no shame either. I don't know. I definitely do that all the time. I don't know. I guess an interesting like kind of side channel topic to that is how do y'all feel about music that doesn't have English lyrics? Because I personally like have found like certain like niche genres that I really love and I don't even understand what they're saying. Like it's still just like the music is still equally as compelling. Maybe it'd be more compelling if I knew the words, but
I don't know. I find it like there's almost a mysterious vibe that comes in. I'm like, I don't know what they're singing about, but all I know is that like this is either beautiful or like I guess you could say funky, and I freaking love it. And like it doesn't even I almost don't want to know what the words are. But I definitely agree. I think sometimes a song where you don't understand the language can be really good.
Yeah. I think for the longest time I've listened to songs that I don't necessarily like the language that they're written in. I don't necessarily speak that language or understand. The the earliest example that I can think of was when I was a kid. We used to listen to bossa nova, and bossa nova is from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So the lyrics are for the most part Portuguese. Some of them are English because I think some of them are like renditions, like remakes of like older songs, like oldies. But like I said, like you guys have said, I think the lyrics don't really, how do I say this? They don't really matter as much to me if like everything else like kind of is checked. So, for instance, like it might be in a different language, but maybe I like the arrangements, or maybe I like the melody. Maybe the lines that are sung, I don't understand them, but the melodic phrasing behind them is so like compelling, and maybe I don't understand the words, but it's articulated or performed in such a way that you can almost feel what they're trying to say, or the emotion is there. Like for example, if someone's singing like in pain, you can really tell.
You can always tell.
And you don't know what the words are, but you almost like you feel like you're about to cry. You know what I mean?
And you can almost like create a story based on that pain. You're like, oh, I can only imagine maybe they're going through this, or you relate it to some time you felt pain, and then it becomes like personal.
Right. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't really care too much about lyrics as well. I think.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Okay, so I'm on that camp of people, similar to Evan. My family has always like, not all of them. I think my mom, like in particular, like likes it when the lyrics are really like poetic. Mm-hmm. They're well written, but for me it's like if the arrangements. I keep saying arrangements, but let's break it down. I feel like, for instance, if the harmony is there and it's like not sophisticated, it's smart. Mm-hmm. It was thought out. Because sometimes it doesn't even need to be complex. It doesn't need to be harmonically complex. It just needs to be coherent and thought out. And like, there's a reason why I'm using this chord for this part of the melody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Though when I hear that, I'm just like, okay, I get what you're saying. Even though like you have words to say what you're saying, if you didn't have words there, I would have still got it.
Yeah, you still would have known.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. If they can pull that off and get that to come out in like a listener, that is like impressive music.
Right.
In my opinion. And you have to have like some kind of background too. Because like I think you know music well enough to be able to decipher that. But I think they're also trying to draw that out of like the average listener who might not know that like, oh, that particular chord kind of like is supposed to draw out a sad vibe or something like that. So they try to almost like, how can I relate a certain sound to sadness? Like that everyone will recognize,
Huh.
So like I think that could still work, but I think your amount of like background helps with that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say because like, I guess I also have a music background, so I can't really give context on like not.
You
But
aren't one of
I
us,
feel,
Evan.
but I do feel like in a way, like you don't have to know that this is a like a dominant seventh chord here to evoke, like still have that certain feeling evoked. So I think like the most compelling music is written such that like if you hear it, you just feel it, like it's directly
The shivers,
translated.
when like
Yeah.
you get the chills throughout your whole body. And you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Whoa, this song, this is something else.
Yeah, and there are certain things for me that definitely achieve that like a lot more than other things. Like I absolutely love it like when short pauses in music are
Oh,
done
like
to perfection, like cut the
silence,
sound. Yeah,
like, boom.
that is like oh,
That
like,
does, yeah. That evokes
that just
a certain,
hits.
like
That
reaction.
hits like so hard for me sometimes.
Oh, I'm trying to think about a song that has that in it. Do you have a good example?
Oh yeah, How You Like Me Now by The Heavy. There's a moment in like at the end of the second chorus where they do that before like transitioning to the end, and it just like it's like that high that just like rides out. I don't know,
Oh.
it's great.
Okay,
I love that.
If you haven't heard that song, we'll have to give it a listen because I don't think I've heard
Definitely
that
should. Great band, one of my favorite bands.
should. Shout out!
Ooh,
shout
the
out!
shout out's coming. Okay, wait. I kind of have a comment. I feel because
Yeah.
so I don't want people. I don't want people to hear this. People hearing this to think that like things have to be sort of harmonically complex or even like across the board complex because that it's hard to say because it's like we whatchamacallit, call it complexity. There's not really an exact word for it. The way I would define it is that a lot of I think music that gets pushed out today by big like producers. Sorry, are we still running? Okay, just checking. I can tell they're banking on specific like properties of the music. So, for instance, like maybe they'll like bank like put all their chips in like maybe rhythm and maybe the melody. And then that's it. Like the timbre, it can like the tom especially the timbre diversity. That's a big one I think today in like really like radio music. So when you put all your chips in one spot, for someone who I feel like has a lot of musical background, you can tell when like, oh, this person's trying to hook me in. This is a hook.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the term they use, right?
Yeah, the hook.
The hook. And when you catch it, you kind of have this like knee-jerk reaction of like, I'm not buying it. Yeah,
This isn't the hook for me.
yeah. I'm not gonna take the bait. And I think that's maybe what's going on here is that a lot of us may have become maybe a little too conscious of like, especially if like you listen to things that are more well-rounded, like maybe jazz or funk. Well,
yeah.
even funk is a little like it banks on rhythm a little too much. But
Yeah.
Pretty heavily.
Funk depends. There can be great funk. Sometimes funk is just like way too much like bass guitar. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I would still
That's like the next 5 minutes.
I would still argue though that the great like sort of years of funk like was still super harmonically complex. So they didn't like bank it all on rhythm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know? I think today everybody kind of like banks it on like loudness. That's like the number one.
I agree
Like
with
like
that
volume.
so much.
Yeah. Loudness, rhythm. Just to hook you in. But when you catch it, you're just like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna buy into it.
This isn't enough. Your increase in volume is not catching me.
Yeah, one thing I was gonna say. So I had a couple thoughts off what you said. Like first is that I feel like formulaic pop and that sort of thing, like music from big producers nowadays, it's very melody driven. It's so melody driven, I feel, and it's kind of weird because like it still uses that model of music established in like classical periods that is supposed to be built up from harmonics. But it just feels like all they focus on is like the lead singer or like maybe a lead guitar riff here or there. Like it's all about the melody. And for me, like I'm definitely a harmony, like rhythm guy. Like so
That
that
makes
just
sense.
doesn't vibe as well. But another thought was that I feel like pop music, they try and make it catchy, and they also like that loudness comes through in terms of like they make it so simple that I feel like they design it so that it could be played over something. Like
Oh.
you're talking to someone, you can still hear it, or you're driving and there's a bunch of white noise, you can still hear it like perfectly normal. And I feel like for me, that's just not how I like to like ingest my music. Like, don't get me wrong, I listen to so much music in the car, but like I don't know, I turn it up enough so I can still hear the stuff that's like you know,
Oh, I
artistically
agree.
added
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
background. And I
Yeah.
feel like that a lot of that like big producer music just like they just ignore that.
Yeah,
Or not
I
ignore
have
it,
a hard
but
time
neglect
listening
it.
to music with white noise, like you're saying, in the background. When I listen to music, I desperately like want silence in the background, so I can hear, like you're saying, every single portion of it. Because I feel like it creates the song. Like if I'm missing that like background bass, I feel like I'm missing out on it. Like the song isn't
Oh,
exactly,
absolutely,
you
yeah,
know what I
definitely.
mean? Like it's just not the same.
Yeah.
So like that's why I actually tend to prefer lighter songs, quieter songs, because then I find like a moment of silence to listen to it, and I feel like it just hits me so much harder.
That's so okay. That's so interesting because I feel like loudness and timbre have like an inverse relation. You know what I mean? Like right now, you just noted you just mentioned the bass
Mm-hmm.
in like really loud, like blown out, almost like clipping, super distorted music. There's very little room to like notice like, ooh, there's a cello in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
or ooh, there's like a little clarinet,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
little inner melody over there, dude.
Right.
Like no, and like it doesn't have to be orchestral. It could be like like an electric guitar
Mhm.
or even the vocals, like background vocals. Who knows? Whatever.
Mhm.
The point is, the louder you make your music, I think the harder it is to like diversify the timbre, and I think timbre is something that we shouldn't miss out on. It's such a great part of music. If you look back at music history, like the greatest hits, I think, it was conscious about timbre, but it wasn't trying to like make it its like selling point. It was like, look at us, like we have so many arrangements, but it's all going to be part of this holistic experience. You're not gonna necessarily catch like the French horns here if you don't
Little
try to
French
listen
horn,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But holistically, your experience of the music is like, oh my god, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
You're not like, those French horns really added something, huh? No, but it adds. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like the way that I felt about it was a lot of the times, right? The vocals are so pushed ahead of everything else that oftentimes I'm listening to a song and I couldn't even tell you what the rhythm was. I could just tell you what they said. Like especially big pop songs nowadays, it's like I could tell you exactly the first like 6 lines of the song, but if you ask me like, well, what was the beat, or like what instrument, name one instrument, I'd be like, vocals.
I don't know.
Well, someone sang at some point, but that's all I can hear. And so what I'm saying is like sometimes, right, you turn it down and you have silence in the background, and then you like, maybe if you X out the voice, you're like, holy shit, there was actually a song under that song, you know? Like that's what I mean. So I think,
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wish it wasn't happening so often today.
I also feel like loudness can kind of impact dynamics, and when I say dynamics, I mean like transitioning from like loud, impactful moments to like quieter moments and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Like, it just kind of cuts your range a little bit, or just makes it less meaningful.
That's
Yeah,
so
I'm
common,
just trying
though.
to think of like I can't really think of a pop song that plays with dynamics. Honestly, I'm trying to like think of like
Pop, not really.
Maybe like.
I'm sure there's something out there.
Total Eclipse of the Heart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. Yeah, but it's just like
But I'm alright with those pop songs.
yeah, for sure.
You let those go. You're like, yeah, that'll work.
And don't get me wrong, like there are some like extremely popular artists that I love their music. Like it's very good. Like I really appreciate it. Like it might not be my like exact, it might not align exactly with my taste, but I can appreciate it. But there's like
I feel the same.
but yeah, some of like the stuff we've been talking about, it's like, yeah, I feel like dynamics also get impacted by that a little bit.
Okay. Anything else on the music topic?
Okay, I just want to reiterate one thing because I don't
Paulo
want to
hates
sound,
all music.
I don't want to sound like a total boomer, right? I think the big kind of like disclaimer or like asterisk in all of this is that we're not saying that music has to be complex, because that's not the point. Like your music can be simple. It's just, I think when you like put your eggs in one basket, it kind of like subtracts from the other kind of facets of music, and that's where like it might kind of like lack or come off as like, I don't know, shitty music. I don't know what else to say. It's not that it's not complex enough. It's that it didn't cover enough bases. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that wasn't as controversial as I wanted to.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree. I mean, I also want to like just say that, you know, listen to what you love. Like that's the most important thing. Like when I would talk about music with people, I'm most invested in just like hearing about what they love and like what gets them going. Cause that in the end, that's what matters. Like I just like, I think music is such a beautiful thing and I just want everyone to be able to experience that in however they do. And so if you love like that formulaic stuff that we've kind of been bashing on, then like by all means,
Right,
like
listen to
you
it.
do you, like listen to it. It's just like kind of not what, it's kind of in my opinion, like not what I enjoy, but
I agree.
yeah.
I think that's a good point to make, because the only reason why some of that music exists is because they have an audience who really enjoys it. So I always try to, like you're saying, keep in mind that whoever you're talking to might be part of the audience that maybe you're not a part of, but that's okay, and that's actually kind of cool, because now you can share two completely different perspectives.
All right.
And figure out maybe where you like overlap. Like we both like music, so what parts do we share and what parts maybe do we differ? And then, you know, I always think you can learn a lot about somebody based on just stuff like that in general, not just music, but where you come from two different sides and you can like figure out why do we feel the same way on some things versus other things. So
Righty.
Very true.
I also think it's like, it's also a good point to bring up that these songs are super successful. No matter what you
Right?
say about
True.
them,
True.
they're absolutely, like, you can't deny the fact they're successful just because they've been bought or streamed so many times.
Mm-hmm.
It accomplished what it set out to do.
And some songs bank on being bad on purpose. Some
That's true.
some artists bank on
The
that.
meme tier.
Dude, yes, and that works. And if it works, what are you gonna do?
Dude, I have an entire playlist that's like 80 songs of just meme trap music.
Right? Like,
And it like sometimes that's just your vibe. You just
Right?
want to slap to like some of that old high
True.
school stuff, some like OT Genesis,
Yeah.
you know, like whatever it is.
No,
Nothing against
you
OT
wanna
Genesis.
You want to
but-
go back. Like, I feel like there's a lot of those songs. I don't know. I think a lot
Wait, I'll
about
get some more.
Linkin Park. A lot of their songs, I'm just like, yo, this is just not the vibe anymore. But it brings out the nostalgia throwback, and like you're saying, some of the memes. And you're
Oh, yeah.
like, you know, this if anything brings a smile to my face, and like you're saying, music is supposed to do that if it's working, right?
Mhm.
Bring out that like good kind of emotion. So, okay, I think we covered the music topic pretty well. I'm happy that we got to
Yeah, we
discuss.
fleshed that boy.
I feel good about that. Shifting a little bit, what kind of games have you guys been playing / has been like catching your fancy lately? I can start if you don't know.
I mean, I can go. I mean,
Yes.
I've always been a gamer.
Gamer.
I don't know. I've just
Gamer.
ever since like I got my hands on a Nintendo DS, I've been gaming. But I don't know. I mean, right now, like I've kind of dived back into card. I always go in and out of like card games. Like I was a big Hearthstone player when that came out, but I've been playing a lot of Legends of Runeterra, which is the Riot-made card game. I think it's much better than Hearthstone. It's very good.
Oh.
That's kind of been like kind of something I just do if I'm like, you know, vibing, like eating dinner, just not doing much, or like watching a show in the background. Like it's a lot of fun.
Do you like deck building games, or is it
Oh,
just like
yeah.
card games?
Well, yeah, I mean it's partially both.
Like
Like,
both,
there's
okay.
a deck building and a playing aspect. I love deck building. Like I play a lot of Magic the Gathering as well, and I love to just like brew certain concepts. I love playing janky stuff. It's like you wouldn't imagine this. Like I don't like playing meta decks really. I like just trying to, you know, I see a card and I'm like I want to make that work like somehow.
Oh, you're
Like,
one
that's
of
the
those.
vibe. Yeah,
Are
that's-
you have you played Slay the Spider?
I've not. I need to.
Dude,
I know
so
I need
many
to.
people stand that game. I haven't played it, but people that like deck building games have said it is like peak.
Yeah.
So if you gotta try it and let us know.
I gotta once I get some time. But that, and then on the absolute other side, I'm like I've always been like a pretty competitive person. Loved playing sports growing up. Loved competing. So my competitive squeeze at the moment is Rocket League. I've been playing a lot of
my
Rocket
gosh.
League. I'm almost at like 800 hours, so I've been putting in
Dude,
some work.
Legendary.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Definitely recommend that game. It's like probably the hardest game I've ever learned how to play because like no former gaming knowledge translates to it at all. But it's also like
Right.
really rewarding and I don't know. It's very creative.
Dude, how about you ask him?
All right, I'll ask him. Yo, Evan, tell us what your rank is in Rocket League.
Oh my gosh. I mean, right now I'm champ 2 in 3s. I haven't really been grinding 2s at all, But yeah, champ 2 and 3s. I don't know. I was kind of surprised I actually made it to champ. Like I kind of like was in plat for a long time, then just like breezed through diamond like straight to champ. It was weird.
Let's go.
But
Freaking
that's where we're at
huge.
right now. It's gonna take me like a millennia to get out of champ. So
This is
I'll
your
be
life
here
now.
for
This is-
probably
Yeah.
if I keep playing the game, I'll probably be here for like another like year, 2 years.
Oh
We'll
my
see.
gosh. Have you ever played CS:GO? You said you're into competitive games. Have you ever like gone either? I guess there's the CS:GO route, or I guess Tarkov is kind of like a big thing now too.
My shooter squeeze was always Overwatch. When I
Oh,
played,
yeah,
I was
you
a big
did
Overwatch
Overwatch
person.
fan.
I was a big I played Overwatch for a long time. I've like messed with CS:GO a little bit, and I really enjoyed playing Call of Duty growing up. But CS:GO just like doesn't really hit it for me. I don't know.
Bro,
It's like
you just didn't hit the right vibe.
Yeah,
I'm telling
yeah,
you,
yeah.
I'm
Like, I
telling you,
feel like
CS is lit.
if I had people to play with, I probably would like it a lot. But
It's
I don't know.
so good. I think it's like you're saying, one of those games where you need friends. Like if you have like a full party, it's like kind of like League of Legends or like Dota. If you have a party, it changes the game. Like it
Oh,
makes
yeah.
it way more fun.
No, I believe that for sure. Like almost any game becomes like so much better when you're playing it with a squad. But
I noticed myself, at least in college, I could not play games because I really didn't have a lot of friends that had the time to play with me. And like in high school, right? Everyone has so much time. And so I was just playing with friends every single night. And so that's why I think I love games so much. But I just didn't realize the only thing I really loved was the fact that I was playing with people. So then I tried to play freshman year and I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, why do I even play games?
No, it's true. Like, I think I get that too as well. Like, honestly, I really only had a squad for like when Overwatch was like first being released. I played with my high school friends, but then like anything before or after that, really nothing. Like in college, I mean, we'd play like a lot of casual games together, like me, Paulo, like some of our other friends, like I mean, you've even hopped in like when we're playing Among Us and stuff like that. So like that sort of thing like is always a lot of fun. But for competitive games, like it takes a really like compelling game for me to want to like grind solo. And I think the only reason like Rocket League just like does that for me, and it's kind of surprised me. Like I didn't expect to still be playing it, to be honest.
Dude, yeah, because I mean, that game's been out for, I mean, how long?
Yeah, it's been out since like 2016, 2015,
Right?
I
Yeah, was
believe.
gonna say,
2015.
like, right before we graduated.
So,
holy shit.
yeah, it's
I
been
mean,
out for
that's,
over
like, a
5
long
years.
time.
And when it first came out, like I didn't like look at it at all. I even had a friend in high school that put in a ton of hours into the game and was like, "Yo, you would love this." And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. Like I was just I was
no.
playing Borderlands and playing Overwatch." So
Right?
But yeah. I just had I mean, with COVID, I had so much time. I was just like, I'm just going to, dive into this.
Dude, heck
It was
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Paulo, games?
Oh shoot.
I know you've kind of been off the game train,
Yeah. I think
which is totally fine. You can talk about that too.
so. Yeah, I've felt this sort of phenomenon you're talking about, where like during college, you kind of like fall off of it a little bit.
That's how I felt.
Yeah,
That
I mean-
happened to me.
It happened to me real hard because like, I think when I was in high school, it was every day.
Right?
So
Same.
it was every day, Team Fortress 2. That was like that was my main squeeze. And then
Let's go.
after Team Fortress 2 and MOBAs were like the big thing,
Yeah, they
like
blew up.
right before college, I like got into League. And it was like every day. Like I'm ashamed of that. You know what I mean? like,
Dude, no,
like it's that
you like it.
it's-
It's
No shame,
worth.
bro. No
Yeah, dude, it was worth.
No shame.
it's that level of like addiction. Here's the thing. I feel kind of bad about saying this because I've heard someone say this before, and it's that they're only into multiplayer games these days. Like I've heard that from like a friend on Steam, and at the time I thought to myself, I don't want to ever get to that point because some of my favorite games are single player games, like Portal 2.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play
That's
it.
your favorite.
You can play it co-op, but I played for. I think I gained most of the value out of that game from the single player like aspects.
Oh, okay.
And God, I love that game to death. Like it. I don't know. It is. This is gonna be a little cringe, but that game means a lot to me.
Dude, no, that's not cringe. It's in no cringe zone.
I
You
I
can't be
freak-
cringe.
Right? It's a great game. I don't know. I just freaking loved it. I fell in love with the game. Right? So I don't want to be this way anymore. Whereas like, or I never wanted to be this way. Where like I only want to play multiplayer games now.
Yeah.
Because what if like I find another Portal 2? You know what I
Right?
mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the case. Like ever since even right now, like college is done. Like we're all graduated. I still feel like I'd only ever play if people were playing
Right?
with me. But if that's not the case, like I literally will just do something else.
Dude, yeah, no, you have to, like you're saying, if you get the game that like draws that out of you, where you're just like, I can play this alone, and like I want to so bad, then like it's worth it. But until you find that game, don't force yourself to play. Because I
Yeah.
tried to do that a couple times, and it just, you know, you get like an hour in, and you're like, when is this gonna end?
I feel
And
like
it's like what?
I feel like it makes it worse too, because once you come out of it, you're even more like convinced, like maybe I just don't like gaming as
Right?
much anymore.
Yeah, and you're like, that was
But
a
like,
waste of time.
no, I don't ever
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Like, I still think I love gaming. One thing that I've noticed is that I love coming back to old games. Like that's something that I think I enjoy more than I think I would. So, like, we started playing Borderlands 2 recently, and when we did that, I was like, holy shit, this is like so fun, more fun than I expected. Oh, sorry.
Good.
Portal 2, I've gone back to Minecraft too a little bit.
I know, yeah. You had a stint there for like a minute. Are you still in it?
Yeah, we're like playing a survival right now.
Oh,
We have a
dude, you're
server
still
up.
deep in it.
So
Let's go.
if you guys want to like join sometime, like
Dude,
we have a
let me
server
know.
up.
If it's multiplayer. No, just kidding.
No,
Just
yeah.
kidding. I only
Absolutely.
play with people.
No, absolutely. Like we can all play together.
That's sick.
100 Call of the Wild. I mean, that was like a short hiatus.
But you were kind of into it. Like I saw you grinding.
Oh,
for a
dude,
bit there.
I'm still grinding.
Oh, you're still
Let's
grinding?
go. Yeah. Yeah. That's about it for now.
Okay. So if you were to recommend something right now,
Right now, to people, Portal 2. Always Portal 2.
let's go. Yes, dude. That's what I want to hear. Heck yeah.
That's great. We love that. Yeah, I was about to say, kind of speaking to like Hunter Call of the Wild stuff. I feel like there's some single player games that I don't like playing for like long periods of time, but every once in a while it scratches that itch.
Yeah.
And for me, some of those games are like Binding of Isaac or like Darkest Dungeon,
Oh.
like because they just offer like different gameplay you don't get anywhere else.
Mhm.
And it's like sometimes I just like I'm feeling it, and I'll just spend like maybe a couple days, like maybe a week,
Right,
just
yeah.
like grinding it
Just
a little
going
bit, and then
in.
just putting it down, coming back to it.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys ever play Destiny?
ooh, yeah. See that was a big like, that was a big I don't know. Like when Destiny came out, like you gotta understand, Destiny was a looter shooter, and Borderlands 2, like my favorite game of all
Yep.
time, was the looter shooter
Mhm.
before Destiny came out. And so when Destiny was coming out, like everyone was kind of hyping it up. A lot of people switched over, but I tried it like at my friend's house like a couple times. I don't know. I just never really like was as invested. And I even saw like a bunch of content creators like all just switched over to Destiny, but it just never really caught me.
I'm a stan. I'm not gonna lie. So I would say I take offense, but I don't. But I also never played Borderlands 2, so I never fell into that. I think I had like this stint where I got out of Borderlands 1, right? Played like a little Call of Duty, switched to Dota for a while with some friends, did that for like a year, and then played CS:GO for like another year, and then Destiny came out. And then I remember I had like you're saying, like a bunch of my friends were like, "Yo, this is like the next game," and I was like, "Okay, like I guess I'll try it." And I fell into the addiction like so heavy. That's the game I have the most hours in, like still to this day.
I believe.
And like that game, for some reason, it was either because I had the same friends play it every single day. So when you have a squad that always plays after school, you know, like you get home, you're like rushing downstairs. You're like, well, I mean, okay, my bedroom is downstairs, but you're like throwing your shit down. And you're just like, dude, I'm gonna play until it's 1 a.m. and then I'm gonna forget to eat dinner, and then my mom's gonna come down and yell at me, and she's telling me to shut up. Like that was the life, bro. That was the life. 5 days a week, right? And then you got to Saturday, and you were just like, it's all day, baby. It's all day. And I was like, I remember sitting like after those weeks had ended, you know, like Sunday, I guess like Sunday morning, Sunday night, somewhere in there, and you were just like, what did I do? Like this whole week, like what happened? And then I look at my inventory and I was like, dude, that's what I did. Let's go. Like
Yeah.
way to go. So
No, I will say like Destiny, I feel like is much better when you have a squad, like infinitely.
100%,
Like it
yeah.
makes the gameplay like Skyrim. I can totally see why it's like an amazing, absolutely amazing game when you have people to play with. I just didn't have those people. Like I was flying solo.
I think
so
that makes
for
or
me,
breaks
like
the game, 100%.
yeah, for me it was like yeah.
Because I wouldn't
Just
even get
never
on
fell into
alone.
it.
Because I remember I tried it a couple times, right? Like I'd come after school and like some people would have stuff to do, right? And I'd come on, go on alone, and then it'd be like, okay, I'll do like a nightfall for this week. I'd like start it up, and I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait till next week. Like screw this. I don't need this loot that bad. And like you're saying, but all of a sudden when you get like a couple of your buddies and then everyone kind of like has the same objective of like, let's do this, but mostly we're just trying to have fun and like talk to each other about life. That's what made that game for me. So it was like, you know how like your parents like, you need to go talk to your friends more. Like you don't talk to anyone. I'm like, Mom, this is
Like-
socializing. Like I'm talking
really
to people
is.
every day.
Oh man.
So that's what that game was for me. And that was like my stint until high school ended. And like Destiny 2 just came out and like that was a shit show. No offense, Destiny 2, but you failed us all. And then college started. And like I said, like, you know, your friends kind of like fall out of it. Some of you go to different states and like your times are all off.
it's hard.
People start college and it's like, oh, homework, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I just fell out of it until literally after I finished college. I was like, all right, I'm gonna build this gaming PC and I'm gonna get back into this. And it's been so awesome. So yeah, now I play Borderlands 3, right? I finally got
Let's
it on the Steam Summer
go.
Sale. And
Let's
I was
go.
just like, I love looter shooters. Borderlands 1 was my game. So yeah, it's been so fun so far. And then Cold War Zombies. I only play. The only reason why I have Call of Duty is for zombies, and for some reason
Great game mode.
it hits me so good. It still gets me that itch that I got because my first game that I ever played with my dad was World at War Zombies, and so
Oh,
for
there
some
you go.
reason it's got that-
Nostalgia.
yeah, it's got the
Heckin'
factor.
nostalgia.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
so.
feel that.
Do you guys
Yeah.
have like a family member that you ever played games with, like consistently?
For me, no. I mean, my dad would play maybe on occasion. Like, here's the reason. Like, he actually was able. Like, my mom was always very against video games growing up, so I had to like
Same.
really fight
Yeah.
for that stuff. But I had a Wii for like the longest time.
Oh, let's go. Bowling?
And like, yeah, right,
Tennis?
bowling, tennis.
Bro, those are the bombs.
Wanted to play a shooter, you play like the pointing at the screen, Tom Clancy third person stuff,
Yes.
arcade style. But so like it was honestly him that like convinced my mom to get an Xbox because he wanted one to play like a Formula One game. But I just like took that stuff and like I
You turned
played
it
what
on.
I wanted.
You're
Yeah,
like, mine.
but yeah, no, none of my family members like. I feel like the closest we ever got was probably playing Wii Sports Tennis.
Dude,
Like when
yeah,
that was
I mean,
initially out. Like
At
that's
least-
it.
Yeah, my full family, because my brother and my mom never been into games, and yeah, Wii Sports Tennis. It brings that in everyone. Even like you have like old people, like no offense, but like your grandparents, they'll be like, dude, this is low key like lit.
Dude, it gets so sweaty.
I
It's
know.
like it's so intense
Dude,
every
yeah,
time. I would.
everyone is trying so hard.
Dude, I remember like when I was real young, like my neighbor at the end of the street, like this was I guess before he moved out. We would always like hang out and like play stuff outside. And once we're done outside, dude, we'd hit up Wii Sports Tennis and
Yeah,
we'd sweat our
just- yeah,
asses
go
off, just
in.
like slamming that, and it was so funny.
Yeah, you can totally tell when someone's done with a 4-hour session of Wii Sports Tennis when they're just like their shirt is soaked and you're just like, what were you doing? You're like, there was no AC. We were playing Wii Sports Tennis the whole time. Did you play with any family members, Paulo?
Yeah.
Because your brother and sister are pretty into games, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I would say they're gamers too. But my earliest memory, I think, of a family member playing video games and me just like kind of chilling watching, and dude, I love those memories. Is my dad, dude? He played the first God of War on PlayStation.
what?
On
Yo!
on PlayStation 2.
That's
so
sick.
I was too young to play that game, right? Because it's like gory. There's a lot of nudity, whatever. But he played it, and he didn't mind having me on the sidelines watching it. And
Let's go.
I felt like it was such a great bonding experience. Like, I think it's great when dads play games.
Dude, I completely agree.
Because they're just better than you at the games.
Oh, that wasn't the case for
Well,
me.
okay, wait. At first, maybe.
Right.
Well, when you're too young. I was pretty young when I was watching
Oh,
it.
okay.
So he's just naturally better, and you're like, oh man, this guy's just like beating this
My
game
dad,
so
look at him
well.
go.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just like, let's go, Dad. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then later on, for some reason, I don't know what it was. He just stopped playing games altogether. I think he had this.
Did it feel like it was out of nowhere? Like, do you recall if it was just like one day, or all of a sudden he just like over a week's period, kind of like, yeah.
Realistically, he probably waned off of it.
Yeah, probably.
But I think the childhood like kind of recollection is like, oh, he just stopped altogether. You know what I mean? It felt that way.
Yeah,
at
no,
least.
100%.
But then I started to play video games a little more like how do I say it? Like I was the main gamer in the house after him.
Oh, okay.
And then after that, my siblings like kind of like took it on too. And then it became me watching my dad play games to me playing with my siblings.
Nice.
So-
So you became the figure. You're like your inspiring dad for your siblings. You know?
I don't know about that.
Maybe.
I don't know about that, but
Maybe.
we just had. It was great because now I have like 2 people to play with.
That's
So,
sweet. Yeah.
yeah.
You have guaranteed. You know, like they can't not party up with you. They have to.
No, yeah.
They can't say I have internet problems because you're like, bro, we share the same internet.
Lamau.
Land, bro.
Yeah, land, you idiot.
I feel like if I only had to play with one, it'd be this weird like 1v1 type like, oh, let's see who's better. But because there's 3 of us, this is what I loved. We played Little Big Planet for hours, the 3 of us on creative mode, just like making shit.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
It was so fun. It was so fun.
I like because your siblings are really close in age to you, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think life before college, they were probably like my best friends. They weren't
Dude,
just my
yeah.
siblings, yeah, but they were like my friends.
I think at least with video games in particular, because my brother hated video games, so I like looked for people that would also play with me, and so
Right.
my neighbors became like my best friends. Because same thing, like my neighbors that were super close, they all had Xboxes, and so I just be like, yo, can I come over and we can just like LAN Halo for like as many hours as you'll let me stay, dude? Yeah, and we would just literally Halo 3 every single day after school. That was super fun. Connor knows. I basically lived at his house for like at least a couple years in elementary school, dude. And because my parents wouldn't let me have Halo, but I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to Connor's again. They're like, what do you do? And I was like, we just hang out. You know?
Let's go.
And then the whole time, Mr. Wooten, Connor's dad, he would always be like, are your parents cool with you playing this? And I was just like, yeah, they're fine. Like, trust me, you're good. So I think he told them eventually, but it was too late. I was
You
far
were
too
into
into it. Yeah, it was too late.
Too far. That's so funny. I was about to say, I feel like one of, like, I just thought of this now, but one of the most compelling like gaming experience for me growing up was honestly like at swim meets. I feel like I've told Paulo this, but I don't know if I've told you, but like I did swimming growing up in the summers every summer for like since I was like 4 till high school. Like
Whoa.
it was, yeah. And it was a lot of fun. Like it was a great way to like be outside, like stay active, that sort of thing. But if you're ever competing, like swim meets are long. You only swim like maybe 4 or 5 events, but it lasts till like 4 in the
Right,
morning
yeah.
till like at least 1 p.m. So like they'll be pretty long. And you always had like, we're always organized in a tent by like age and gender. So I would be like with guys within like 2 years of me or whatever,
Yeah.
and we'd always just be in our tent just sitting down, like hanging out, like doing whatever. And so the biggest thing to do was everyone had a DS. It was either a deck of cards or a
let's
DS,
go.
but everyone had a DS.
Mario Kart?
And bro, yes, eight
Let's
person
go, Mario Kart.
DS Mario Kart.
Bro.
We had so many people that there was a relegation spot. It was like if you ended last, you were out, bro.
Oh,
and then next
shoot,
person
bro.
hops
And
in
they
the
were
race.
waiting?
Yeah.
Dude, that's
And
sick.
dude, it got to the point like me and Peter, like we stuck it out at like the swim club for the longest, and we were both like by far, like for the most part, the best 2 players.
Yeah.
And so like whether it's battle or like actual just races, like we
Dude.
were at each other's throats like all
I
night long. It
love
got
that
so
game.
bad to where the point where on my DS, like the left and right buttons,
Yeah.
they just broke.
Oh,
My D-pad, it just doesn't work
Bro.
anymore because I was drifting so hard for so
Yo,
many years,
when you
dude.
freaking every single
Yeah.
corner. Dude, I loved that game. Me and Nick used to play that game every day on the bus. Like, so when I was in elementary school, right, I had like this best friend Nick that I'd always ride the bus with, and he didn't have a DS at the time. So I was just like, yo, I'll just get the new DS, and then I'll bring both of those DSs on the bus, and we'll just LAN. And we did that for years on the bus, and bro, it was the best. It was the best. We just literally just do Mario Kart. We were the only 2 people in the race, and we'd always finish first and second. But it was always a battle. Who was gonna be first this time? You know, that was such a good time. So Mario Kart. If you didn't have that as a kid, I feel bad. I really do.
Oh yeah,
that changed
If
my
you have a
life.
DS, you gotta have that. You gotta have that and like some form of Pokemon. Like
Pokemon,
always,
100%.
there are always people like
Pearl.
whether it's Emerald, Fire Red, like Platinum, like that.
Yep.
Someone's trying to battle you.
Yep.
I
yes.
fought against this one guy that had he hacked his game, right?
Oh
So
no!
he had
cringe.
he had a Spiritomb with Wonder Guard that knew Lock On and Fisher.
bro.
So he
stop.
could one shot you.
Stop.
But that didn't stop me, bro. I still beat him. Easy
Yo,
money with
what?
my
Revive.
with
Max
my
revive, max
I think it was like my level 77 T-Tar, bro. Just like that sandstorm, he couldn't take it, you know.
Dude, yes. I remember when I got my whole team to level 100, and I was just like, is this what life is? Like, have I done it? And then I was like, wait, but I have like 100 Pokemon just like waiting to be level 100 as well. And I was just like, well, gotta get the next 6. Here we go. That game was so fun. I mean, Pokemon, I think, has changed pretty much everyone's lives at some point. Even people that weren't into it, right? People that, at least like when we were in middle school, were just like, oh my gosh, Pokemon. And then Pokemon Go came out. And they're all like,
Right?
yo.
And then it's
Pokemon's
hyped
pretty
for
cool. And I'm
dude.
like,
Okay,
yo, what? You
I
weren't
don't
ever
know.
part of this.
I
Get
don't
out
know
of
if
here.
this happened to y'all at all, but I was like a gamer and a nerd from a pretty young age. And I was always around a group of friends. I was like very like sporty, like sort of like I wouldn't describe them as jocks because like they're super nice people, and I feel like that has some sort of
A negative
implications.
connotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they were never like into games. Like they're more into like, you know, playing sports, like being outside, like that sort of stuff, which I was also like totally into. But like during middle school it was like, oh yeah, games are lame, like whatever, like we don't play any of this. And then high school rolls around and I swear they became like freaking, like some of them became straight up otakus, like not gonna lie. Like they just got deep into like Naruto and all that stuff.
And you're like,
and then,
dude, what?
And
Get
other
out
people
of
like
here.
became like such big gamers. I'm like, where the heck has this been? Like I've been asking y'all to play games for
Right.
years and y'all just call me like, nah dude, I'm not into that stuff. And now you're just like
Yeah.
out here like spending so much time on like Pokemon Go or whatever it
That's
is,
when you
or
ask
playing
them all.
phone games. Like I was
Dude,
I
yeah.
played Hearthstone from the beginning, and they were all like, "Oh, Hearthstone exists, like that's lit." And then like anytime we were like just chilling in the locker room or whatever, we'd be playing Hearthstone. They'd always be asking me questions about the cards and stuff. But
Oh my god.
I was like, man, like what happened to y'all? Like y'all are bigger nerds than I am now.
I think people think that they're too good for games for a little while. You know, there's always like that period. It depends on who you are. Because like if you grow up with games, that never happens. But like if you don't grow up with games, then there's like a negative connotation with like, oh, you're a gamer, and I'm like, what the? But that was also our generation. Like things have changed completely now. Like games now, I feel like are kind of more accepted and more like, I would say like almost everyone tries them as a kid.
It's true. I know, it was so funny to me because I mean, once the mobile game wave came,
Yeah.
like that hit everyone. I feel,
Bloons Tower
but
Defense.
oh
Shout
yeah,
out.
Bloons Tower
Bloons Tower
Defense.
Defense, yeah.
But it was so funny because my mom, like, she would always like say, "Oh, you're playing games too much, like whatever, like I don't agree with this."
No, here we
But
go.
I asked her once what level she was on in Candy Crush, and she said level like 569 or something like that. And it's like those levels aren't just like you play it, it's done. Like you have to like
Yeah, it's
work
not
for
30
each of them,
seconds.
especially like
No,
in the
yeah.
later ones. Like it would take her days to do some of them, and it's just like, all right, mom. So you're really telling me that I'm playing like too much Borderlands when I'm only playing once I've finished my homework, but you're like out here like crushing candy all the
literally
time.
all
Like
day, all
I
damn
don't know
day.
about that. And I tried to tell her, I was like, you know, like I feel like the games I play are more compelling. They're more
Oh,
like
yeah.
deep.
Yeah,
They have
more
like
than
a
Candy
story.
Crush.
They have that. They have like more progression.
Yeah.
Whereas you're literally just like moving stuff
You
around.
move
Like
candy,
I don't know.
wait for it to move itself a little
Like
bit,
there's
and then that's
strategy,
the next
but there's also so much randomness. It's like you might as well be like rolling a slot machine.
level.
But
Right? You
I
see
don't
some
know.
people play Candy Crush, they move one thing and then like the whole thing explodes and you're like, did you plan on that? And they're usually like, nope. It just happened and you're like, this game has no strategy at all. You just came lucky.
Yeah, I feel like it's so sad, but I feel like mobile games have replaced the DS. in
Dude,
that era of
no, I
handhelds.
know, I
And
agree.
that is such a beautiful era. Like, oh my gosh.
The Switch has tried to bring it back.
That's true.
They've been trying,
The Switch
but it's
is
just not quite. Like the era's been big, as far as I understand, but
Switch
it's
is just-
nothing like what
it's
the DS
pricey,
was
man.
like.
It's
I
pricey.
know.
Yeah.
And now the new Steam Deck. Have you seen that?
I've not.
You haven't even heard about it?
The Steam Deck, I don't think I have actually.
Okay,
honestly.
so Valve basically made Switch 2.0 their
Really?
own version where it's its own computer, right? So it can
Mhm.
run like Windows, but it has Steam integrated in it, so you can play like all kinds of games, like pretty intensive games as well.
Wow.
And you can hook it up to your own PC to make it more powerful. So it's pretty insane as far
Makes
as like
sense.
I've heard. But yeah, it's like
I mean,
$500
with 5G coming around. If y'all don't know, I am a comp sci, so I'm pretty like in the loop on some of this stuff. Not gaming necessary, but in terms of like where technology's at.
come to Evan
With
with all your
the
technology questions.
with the advent of 5G coming around, like all right, so everyone, all the mobile companies, right? They're all advertising 5G this, 5G that. It's really just 5G, like rudimentary, like glued onto 4G networks. So it's not true 5G. Once we have true 5G networks, like our latency times are going to be so low, like less than a millisecond.
Wait.
And
Can
you know what
can
this
go
means?
layman's terms?
You know what this
Yeah,
means?
please.
This means that VR will not have to be attached to your computer because it can get rendered on the cloud fully and transmitted, and it'll meet the latency requirements completely. You won't have to worry about waiting on frames, which also means that
Dude, Joey's
streaming
gonna freak
services
out.
such as Stadia and that sort of thing, like that'll be totally seamless. You'll be able to stream 4K games and play them without having a PC, any of that stuff. So that is like right around the corner, and I feel like that's gonna like it's gonna
wait,
push some
timeline
waves.
wise. Do you have any predictions?
So infrastructure is the biggest thing, right? Like it's going to be hard to set up like a full nationwide like pure 5G network. I mean, we've heard of things like Starlink, which is like Elon Musk's way of creating a 5G network, low orbit satellites. Honestly, that's probably like going to happen quicker, but we'll see. I don't know what the progress is on that. But I mean, 5G, like I mean, our phones are already 5G capable, so like it's like around the corner. I see it'll happen in the next 10 years easily.
Dude.
Like it might even happen in the next 5 years. Like fully integrated. So
dude, that's gonna be so cool. Okay, I didn't even.
yeah,
know.
it'd be pretty lit.
Because yeah, people have been, or at least like you see the advertisements, they've been saying 5G for like 4 years
Oh,
now,
yeah.
and I'm like, what is 5G? I thought we just got to 4. what does that even mean? LTE. What?
Yeah, when they say like all the difference, the only difference between 5G, 4G, 2G, 1G is literally just like the range on the electromagnetic spectrum that the waves are transported. So, like 5G is basically there's less. Oh gosh, I gotta
Here we go.
I gotta
You're
think
about to
about.
dive.
I'm not an EE, but Andrew, one of my
no.
EE friends, has told me this many times.
Dude, if you mess
But-
up,
so
he's gonna be on your ass.
Here's the thing. Well, I know this. The bandwidth is significantly better. You can transmit. There's more throughput. You can transmit more data faster.
Okay.
But the range is lower. Like it's a lot lower actually. Like the frequency like will fall off. Translate that into E terms that are proper because I'm fall off is obviously not what actually happens. But
something more happens.
Yeah.
There.
But I mean, like I feel like that trade-off is totally fine if you have like something 5G capable in your home. Like you don't need to transmit like crazy distances or
Right.
anything.
Oh,
Like
that'd be so cool.
the advantage of low band frequencies is that they can actually like transmit like super far, like across continents, across the world.
Oh,
but,
that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, that actually explains a lot. Dang.
Yeah, they do weird stuff like bounce off the ionosphere. It's pretty cool. But
Science.
science is wild.
Honestly, though, I have to say, I think my phone's LTE is almost better than most of the internet I've ever had. If you're in the right area, right? Like, if you're in the right area,
Yeah.
my phone performs, like, insane compared to anything.
No, it's true. Like I guess like my family was able to get an unlimited data plan, so luckily I've been able to inherit that, and I don't even bother like checking for Wi-Fi networks if I have LTE connection.
Right?
Like I literally
I feel
don't.
the
I
exact
could be
same
like
way.
watching Twitch or watching YouTube. I literally don't care.
Yeah,
like
if
I'm
I
just
see
like
2 bars of LTE, I'm like,
Yeah.
we're good. Wi-Fi, never heard of her. Like, what? I have everything out here, you know? You just, like, look around, like, this is enough. This space, I have internet. I just think it's so cool. When LTE came out compared to 3G, it, like, shook my life.
Huge difference.
Changed
And
my
5G
life.
is gonna be similar actually. Like
Dude, if it's- yeah.
hard to tangibly
Right?
like think about, but it's actually going to.
If it's that monumental,
Yeah.
bruh. It's gonna be like getting, like, Google fiber optic.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That'll be insane.
Yeah, it'll be really cool.
Wow. Okay. Well, that covers the games. I don't know how we got to internet. How we got like, so deep into 5G, but
Because it's gonna make gaming that much better.
true. The gaming space will change, which I'm actually really excited for, especially because I think a lot of people. I mean, if anyone's in the computer market right now, you know that basically every computer part ever, at least in America, is just inflated to the max.
I've been trying to buy a GPU for years, but once I started looking, crypto mining became a thing, and guess what? Those boys were like thousands of dollars, and I'm like, I'm not spending thousands of dollars. I'm broke, and now that I have money, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to spend
Yeah, is it-
$800,
is it worth it?
$900. Like,
Dude,
so
wait,
we're
can-
waiting.
Can you explain a little bit? Because I don't understand. Why does the crypto market and mining affect the prices of GPUs?
So it's funny because GPUs aren't even the best for crypto mining, which is like kind of ironic when you think about it, right? But basically, like at the beginning, like people were just like stacking GPUs just for
Oh,
performance. So
okay.
the thing about crypto mining, it's all about performance. How quickly can you mine the crypto? The thing that people are using now are ASICs, which if you don't know what an ASIC is, it's basically like think of how a processor does like a bunch of things, and it like has that flexibility, but it's slow because it has to account for all these different things. An ASIC only does one thing, but because it doesn't have to account for any flexibility, it can literally be burned into hardware, and it's just the matter like the speed at which the electrons move through the wires is how fast you can do something.
Oh my god,
And
bro.
basically people have made ASICs for mining crypto, That's all it does. It just mines crypto all day. So hopefully price of GPUs will go down. But in the beginning, like I don't know the full stack of what mining crypto is.
Yeah.
I'm not a crypto miner, so someone could probably tell you better, but it all boils down to like performance. Like the reason why they had multiple GPUs like stacked was for performance.
Okay. So that's why the market kind of like got so inflated because so many of those people were buying as many GPUs as they could. Okay.
Basically, they're just making money off of it, and yeah, like that was the easiest way. But then once ASICs, people developed ASICs and FPGAs, which are basically like kind of fancy ASICs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess where I was going with that was that don't build a computer right now. And if 5G does come out, it might be the savior for everyone who's trying to build a computer right now. So maybe be patient. I guess it could be your Evan's professional
Maybe we'll
recommendation.
see. I mean, it's hard. Like the infrastructure thing is the biggest part. So like I don't know. Like internet. God, internet is so weird. It's like internet is just this hodgepodge slew of things that just like somehow works, and we don't really know why it works because it's basically just a bunch of people saying like, oh, this is how we're gonna do it. Okay, I guess I'll do that, and then they follow it. So like I mean, just think
roasting.
about. But here's the thing: just think about Google Fiber, right? Google Fiber's been out for a long time. How many places actually have fiber? Not honestly that many. Like mostly cities, that sort of thing.
None.
So if
Zero
you're
places.
I feel like it like unless low orbit satellites are like actually the solution, like it might be a similar thing with 5G. So I would say like if GPU prices get better, like I mean it's nice to have a good computer. If anything, like there are games that you're gonna want to play locally, like you're gonna be you just might want to be offline. So you know you might not want to rely on the server because here's the other thing, right? These speeds are all available to us. But you know that they're gonna price lock that shit.
True. It's gonna be
Stadia,
so messed
Google,
up.
like whoever's doing it, whoever owns the servers, Microsoft, whoever it is, they're gonna be like, oh, you want this quality of game? Ah, cough up the money, dude.
Shit, yeah.
Pay me $30 a month for that. Pay me $20 a
60 frames
month.
per second. Are you sure
Yeah.
about that? Because that's gonna be. Let me
'Cause that's the thing. Like it's all rendered on the cloud, and the cloud is a shared resource. So they're probably gonna price lock that. So
Dude, we're gonna be
it might
so
still
fucked.
be nice to just have a GPU, so you don't have to worry about that if you're playing something local. It doesn't rely on online games.
I didn't actually think about that. Okay, so maybe keep your eyes on the GPU prices.
Yeah, always.
In case it comes down, in case it comes down relative to how horrible it is right now, then it might be the time to get a computer. Paulo, I'm just gonna shout you out at the moment. You just got a new computer,
I did. Yeah.
and she's a bit of a beast,
She is, which means we should play some Borderlands 3 sometime.
dude. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go, bro.
Let's go.
But yeah, I don't know. Would you say either of you, well, both of you, is it worth investing in a gaming rig if you planned on buying like the next Xbox or the next PS5? Because like those consoles are starting to get pretty expensive, like $500 ish, but they are also really improving the performance. Like they can pull off like a decent amount, and there's crossplay these days. So it's like if someone like came up to you and they're like, "Hey, console or PC?" For moving forward, what would you say?
I think I would still say PC. Well, here's the thing, right? I think Evan will have better input on this because I haven't touched a console in years. Like maybe save for a Switch, but like even that I don't play with that often. I've been on the PC for a while now, and I think the only reason, like here are the only reasons why I think I would recommend PC over console any day of the week. It's because I feel like playing with a keyboard and a mouse just feels so much more intuitive than playing with a controller. I think the pro of the controller is that it's comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I can say though. It's like if I want to sit back on the couch, then yeah, controller of course.
100%. Sure.
But if I
Sure,
want to
sure, sure.
like shoot someone's head,
And, like,
definitely mouse
yeah,
and keyboard.
that's fair. That's a really good point.
The only argument to a controller being better than a keyboard is the analog inputs. But I know you use a Tartarus, so you have analog sticks already, which is probably the move. But I mean, I know for me, like for example,
bruh.
I'm a Rocket League player that is mouse and keyboard only, and I don't use analog sticks.
And
So I'm turning, I'm turning like I'm lagging out. But but I would say like in terms of the console argument, like here's the thing, like you got to do what you want to do, and what I mean by that is like there are amazing exclusive games that only come out on certain consoles, and if that is why you game, if that's what you're looking forward to, that's the reason why you game, then you should go for it. I think the biggest case for that is Switch, because Nintendo,
true.
obviously you can't play Nintendo games on anything else.
Gatekeepers.
And they've really made that such a great market, and they put out amazing games. Like, I mean, my girlfriend and I, we bought a Switch, even though we both have PCs that can run games, just because, like, we wanted to play Breath of the Wild, we wanted to play Smash Brothers.
I don't know. Mario Golf was kind of trash.
Oh yeah, well there you go. They're not all winners. They're not all
they
winners.
can't all be
sports.
winners, boys.
And
So-
then, wait a second. I think one important note to bring up is they're all $60 too.
Dude, yeah, no,
What the
the-
fuck?
Nintendo demands the big bucks.
Dude, Nintendo has
They
no
demand the
shame,
money.
zero shame. They
Oh
they
my
know
God.
they have a big enough target audience. It doesn't matter
Nintendo
what
is
the
the
price
Apple
is.
of gaming
They actually
because
are.
people will buy it.
No matter what, it doesn't matter the price tag at all.
Mm-hmm.
If it says Nintendo and it goes, "Ding," then you're good. Like it's bought. Consider it bought.
I mean, honestly, they've built up their brand like super well. But
Yeah, it's hard to roast them.
yeah, past that, I would say the argument for a PC is like one, you can use a controller on a PC if you want to. still.
True, that's what I'm saying.
Like that's the whole thing.
That's huge. Use a controller on a PC.
Also, like the thing about consoles, is in order to make them profitable, they're gonna stop releasing games for the console you have. Like they're gonna release a new one every like 4 years, every 3
Ooh,
years,
true.
sometimes every
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
If you're down to spend like $600, $800 on a console every like 3 or 4 years, then by all means. But I've had my PC for 7 years and I've never had an issue playing any games. And I'm probably just gonna have to spend maybe like money on a GPU, and then it'll last me another like 7 years or so. So like with a PC, there's more flexibility. If you want to like go all in and run things like at 4K, like you can do that. But
Yeah.
also if you just want to play like some games that aren't too taxing, like you can spend less than a console for at least a desktop.
Right.
I'd say if you're arguing with like a gaming laptops can be a lot more expensive. I
Ooh,
mean, laptops
true.
are a lot more expensive in general, but
And they're
from
not quite as modular. Like,
Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
it's not
absolutely.
as nearly as easy to replace
Mm-hmm.
something if it goes wrong.
I'd also argue that while there are exclusives on consoles, there are more exclusives that are PC only. And there are just yeah,
Absolutely.
there's a
and,
lot
and
more
you can,
do
run
PC
a
only.
game, many games, way differently on a PC than you can ever run on a console.
Yes.
Like it'll never look as good. It'll never run as smooth, you know? And like that's no offense to consoles, but they're just not there yet.
Also, a PC has an ample amount of like life utility outside of just like
Right?
existing
True,
as a gaming
true.
thing. Like a console, I mean, you could probably
YouTube.
play Spotify, watch YouTube
Right.
on it. Maybe you could play some movie. I know like PS3. I shit you
PS3,
not.
yes.
The
That's why I got
reason why
Bluetooth.
my mom was like, "Oh, we can get a PS3 is because of Blu-ray."
Bluetooth.
Blu-ray, bro.
Yeah,
They're like,
the Blu-ray
you can
disc.
play Blu-ray. Like, all right, I can just replace this Blu-ray player we have, but that's not a thing anymore. Everything's digital. Thank goodness.
I know, dude.
But,
Imagine if things were still Blu-ray. Do you remember Blu-ray? Like when you didn't have when it came out, right? And I had this panic moment as a kid where I was just like, if movies only come out on Blu-ray, then we're never gonna see anything like ever again. Like we'll never see another movie.
Sorry, digital download got you
Yeah,
back.
thank goodness.
But,
Yeah, and then Netflix blew up, and I was like, oh, thank God.
But yeah.
We're saved.
So that's my argument. I mean, as a comp site, obviously, I find a tremendous amount of utility in owning a computer, and I think that having one that, like, especially one that's capable of running many things, you can do so much with it. Even-
Truly, yeah. And as a non-comp sci, I can only agree with Evan on this one, but I think it's like I think I came from a very small amount of computer knowledge before maybe like November last year, and within I would say like 2-3 months of doing like thorough amounts of research, asking people who knew a lot better than me, just doing like a lot of I think I really I turned to YouTube where people make millions and millions of different rigs and can recommend a bunch of different things, and that's the power of the internet. They can pretty much teach you everything. But if you do some research over a couple months, you'll know everything about a PC and realize how much more, like they're saying, how much more utility you can get out of it compared to a console. And consoles, like I said, consoles are getting a lot better, but there's still all the variability you can get with a computer. I mean, I'm running everything on a computer right now. A console would never be able to handle all of this and like kind of have the durability that I needed to. So,
Right.
no offense to consoles, but yeah, I'm PC for life now.
Consoles have their place. Also, last argument I will say about a PC over a console is that like I definitely recommend 1000% make your own gaming PC. If you're getting it outsourced, it's going to cost you 2 to 3 times as much, and that's just not worth the money.
Facts.
And when you learn how to build a PC and what goes into like installing the OS, getting all the software hooked up, you genuinely learn a lot more about computers that you didn't know in the past, and it just makes it easier to use them. Like if you have a problem that goes wrong, you might be
True.
able to be like, "Oh, I kind of know what that is. Like I could figure this out. I don't have to like call Geek Squad and get them over here,
Yeah,
like
have a guy pull up in a
changing
van
all of
and
my
be like-
settings and all that stuff." So
Yeah, and having like an automatic $150 service fee.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It's just like, yo, I just looked at it, but like that's gonna cost you. Now you can like troubleshoot it yourself real quick and say like, is it the CPU, is it the GPU? Why am I running so slow? Is it maybe just not enough RAM?
Yeah.
And when you realize, like Evan's saying, just the different components, just knowing what they are and just a little bit about what they are intended to do, it can change everything when it comes to troubleshooting your PC's problem.
Oh yeah, because that can come into play when you're playing a game and it's not running correctly or something like that. Then I've accidentally plugged my HDMI into my motherboard instead of my GPU. I don't know how many times, and that's just like, oh, why is everything not working?
Why isn't it working?
And it's like, oh, I'm literally just not using this $700 piece of hardware. But but yeah, I feel like there's a strong argument for that. And I mean, the thing about a console is as soon as you open it up, you've voided the warranty. Like if anything goes wrong, there's no support for you.
You're never gonna get help. You're just gonna have to buy another, or you bought the 1-year warranty that was way overpriced anyway. So it's like, why did you do that? So yeah, I would say the biggest problem with consoles is that you pretty much are signing up for an annual fee if you want to stay up to it. And then yeah, the biggest thing with PCs is, like Evan was saying, 7 years on the same PC, and he might have to replace one part, and like sure, like maybe another part will go out in the next 5 after that, but like one part.
My power supply crapped itself, but other than that, everything works perfectly fine. I've never had an issue with my GPU. My processor still holds up. Like the only thing is like sometimes if I shut down the PC, I have to move the RAM around in different RAM slots to get it back up.
What?
But once it's up, it's fine.
That's like old PC problems.
Yeah,
right there,
it's old PC problems.
But hey,
it's like,
if it's still working,
right? And it's like, I mean, 7 years, like I'll take that. Are you kidding me?
that's huge. Yeah, for an investment like that, like 7 years, you'll never be able to get that on a PC or on a console. So, I wanted to see where you guys stood. But yeah, I'm thinking PC. I think we're all kind of uniform on that one.
Oh yeah, there's just too many arguments. I think mods is another big argument.
Dude,
Very
mods,
true.
totally. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
Mods are huge. You can't do that on a
It's
console.
just so much harder to mod, I think, on a console.
Yeah, I'm proud of them for like making effort to make it more accessible in certain areas, like
Oh yeah,
in certain games,
Mhm.
especially like. But it's just so much harder.
absolutely, yeah.
Mods, huge.
Huge. I also feel
Um,
like a lot of consoles are starting to realize they can't be exclusive anymore in certain titles. Like for instance, Journey.
True.
Journey was a PS3 exclusive, and then they released it on Steam. Halo.
Dude, yeah, that's been
All
a
of
huge
Halo is
thing.
now
Yep,
on Steam.
yep.
I think the biggest thing is initial release nowadays. Like it's
Yeah,
hard to,
it's always
besides
that.
Nintendo, not much is really like a full exclusive, but yeah, I feel like nowadays it's like, oh yeah, like this will come out on this platform only, but then 6 months
After-
later,
Yeah,
a year
we'll release
later,
it
it'll
to
get
everyone.
released later.
Right.
It's because like when a producer is like looking at the market value and they're just like, holy shoot, why are we cutting ourselves off from basically
Right.
one of the other biggest like possible sources of
Absolutely.
income?
Yeah.
I mean, you open it up to the PC world, you just doubled your profit minimum, so it's just like, why not? So it makes sense for them, and then it helps us. So
It's probably a balancing act. These are the people who are willing to buy our thing, our console.
right.
And then once we get those suckers out,
Yeah.
let's move out to the people on
Yeah.
PC. They'll definitely buy our game.
Yeah, that's like raking in like the extra cash, Like,
Yeah.
once you've already like gotten like your huge pile, you're just like, well, we can pick up a couple things here and there. So let's release it to those scrubs over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Oh.
So you're both streamers? No, I apologize for not even.
I'll let Evan go first.
You've both streamed
Yo.
before. Can
Yeah,
I
yeah,
say
yeah.
that?
Honestly, like streaming was fun. The only issue, and this maybe just be a minds issue or just like being an engineering school issue, is once finals week hit, like, oh my gosh, that stuff fell off. And then just life
Yeah.
happened. Like kind of after school for me, like there was a lot of life stuff going on, like starting a new job and that sort of thing, just kind of getting situated. So I haven't really had time to pick it back up. I feel like I could now, but I don't know. We'll see.
No pressure. I was just gonna say, like, what kind of drove you to try it the first time, and then, like you're saying, what like kept you in it while you were doing it, and then you already addressed it, but for you, what like pushed you off? Like, so there's usually almost like it's like a bell curve, right?
Okay.
You get the idea, you start it, you hit like this peak where everything's like great, and then like sometimes you fall off.
Okay. So I'll answer the first question, which was what? Wait. What?
Starting it. How'd you
okay.
start? Like first idea. Where'd it come from?
Honestly, like, shoot, I wonder if any of they're probably not here, but if they ever find this, it's what really like in my head. What really attracted me to the idea of streaming was this sort of like fantasy of like being a teacher. I
Yeah.
wanted to be an educational source
That's sweet.
on Twitch. I wanted,
I think it's super awesome.
yeah,
That's super unique too.
because like I wanted to do art, but I didn't just want to do art. I wanted to tell people, I wanted to share with them like, hey, this is what I'm thinking in my head right now. So if you like doing this stuff, maybe try this out. Maybe this will work for you too.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Or explaining like, hey, you see this thing that just happened just now, and it's pretty lit, right? This is what's going on in the background. When I get to do that and like say that to people, I don't know. It's just that's so rewarding to me. I think it's because there were definitely artists out there when I was looking for info who were taking that spot. This sort of like, instead of like hoarding the knowledge they have, they just literally like gave it for free.
Yeah, just telling everything they knew.
And I grew up from that a little bit, and so I wanted to do the same. I
Pay
think
it forward. That's so sick.
right.
I
Yeah,
love that.
absolutely. I think what made me fall off of it, and I don't even know if I'll go. Like, I want to go back. I miss it. If I ever do go back, it'll be like a once a month unscheduled thing. But the reason why I'm not back yet, even if I have the laptop, is because every time I stream, it's a big time commitment, right?
Huge. No
I
doubt.
feel like every time I stream, I get this like harrowing like feeling like you should be doing a job hunt right now. You should be sending
You should be doing
applications.
this.
You know?
That's fair.
I feel like once I have a job and then I have free time outside of that job, I won't
Yeah.
feel this like guilt of like, oh, you're streaming? You shouldn't be streaming.
Right. So once that's out of like your mind.
Then I'll probably do a scheduled stream.
Okay, cool.
But before that, I think I'll just stream sporadically, like maybe once a month, maybe once 2 months.
Yeah, no,
I don't
that's
even know.
totally fine.
Maybe I won't stream again.
Dude, do your thing. Do whatever you want. No, I was curious because I think everyone kind of has a different inspiration at the beginning. And yours coming from an educational point, I actually didn't know that was the reason you started. I knew you loved that part, but I didn't know that's what inspired you to try it the first time. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Evan, how'd you start?
Yeah, for me, I don't know. It was kind of like I guess it stems from a couple places. Like, I guess for me growing up, like I always watched gaming content, and I was there at like the birth of Twitch. Like I was there at the
Yes.
beginning. Like I always
I
like known
remember.
kind of that streaming is a thing, and it'd been like something like I always like watched or paid attention to for a while. So I always like thought in the back of my mind like, oh, like what if I streamed one day? But like I was never in a place where I really could do that. Just in my life, I mean, I was like
Yeah, of
learning. I was
course.
in
Yeah,
high
yeah,
school, then
yeah.
in like wasn't until late college with COVID really that like kind of
Right.
really made me realize like, oh, like this is something that's really popping off, and it's like, well, I don't have any like reason why I shouldn't do it.
Right.
But another part of it was like, I don't know, I just feel like there are certain games that I've just like poured a lot of time into, and especially mainly like Borderlands 2, like Borderlands 3, like that sort of thing. And a big thing for me is like I just love these games so much that I kind of almost want to share all the knowledge that I've gained, all of like the little like technical things, like
Yeah.
even like the history of it. Like I don't know, like in Borderlands 2, for example, like at various patch points, like the speed run route like will change
let's
based on what's
go, the
broken and not
speed
broken,
run.
and there are certain like glitches that work in certain ways, and just kind of showing that stuff off. Like I don't know, just that sense of like if I could like show one person like this cool thing in this game that's like, whoa, like that's kind of wild,
Yeah.
then that to me is like kind of just what makes it worth it. Like I really enjoy that.
That's like your version of like Paulo TV.
I guess, yeah.
It's like the same. It's a similar
Yeah,
feeling,
it's
right? Because
similar, yeah.
it's like if you really boil it down, right? It's an area in which you have some sort of expertise, and like sharing that with somebody who really wants to know is so rewarding, in anything,
Mhm.
you know. So like I think that's like what I'm saying. You're sharing on that.
No,
on
it's
that
true, yeah.
point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every time I watch his stream, when you were streaming Borderlands, I could not stop like smiling or laughing because there are just some things that I'm like, holy shit, I would have never thought this was happening or you could do this. And this guy just does it and he's like just like chill about it. I'm just like, okay, man.
I guess so. All right.
Dude, that's the best. That's the vibe. It's like, yeah, just like whether it's showing Easter eggs or being like, oh yeah, by the way, like this happens here, but no one knows about it because the devs just like hit it in this place. Or
Dude,
like, yeah,
yes.
like this is how this works. Like you can make a black hole in the ground if you stack enough guns here and you're off host. You know, random
Dude, that's
stuff
sick,
like that.
yes.
And it's really, I don't know, it's fun stuff like that. And I think I did stream like Rocket League as well, like for a point, and I wasn't any good at Rocket League. I knew that. Like, I don't know, like my stream title, I call myself Whiff Station Gaming because Space Station Gaming is like an esports group, but you know, I was horrible plat player, so I would just like whiff all the time. But I mean, for me, it was more just fun to like kind of like like I played a lot of soccer growing up, and like Rocket League obviously is nowhere near the same game, but there are like some similarities in terms of positioning and that sort of thing. And like I was like that was like kind of my life for a long time, was just like
Ooh.
analyzing the game
Yeah.
and positioning and that sort of thing. So it was just kind of fun for me while I'm playing to just kind of talk through like my thought process. Even though I wasn't like a fully developed player, I wasn't like a super high level player. Like I don't know, I just found it fun.
Yeah, what
And
you're
like
thinking about.
yeah, and if anyone was willing to watch it, it was kind of cool. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's sweet.
just one of those things.
So what's happened? You hit a peak at some point, right? Where you were like streaming, like, would you say consistently? Like, what was your like most consistent amount of time?
Yeah, my most consistent amount of time. I mean, this was still during the semester, so I didn't have like heckin' time, but I would stream like two nights a week, somewhere around
Dude,
there, like that.
nice.
And I was consistent for like about a month, like at that rate. I don't know, like I actually was able to get like some amount of viewership. Like I think I was able to get like, I mean, obviously this man was able to pull in some views actually.
I know, yeah. Paulo's
But
got a connection,
I was able
so.
to get like, you know, some streams with like, you know, maybe like 10 to 12 people watching.
Let's go.
And actually like with an interactive chat, which I thought was really cool.
That was,
But
That's so sick.
that was cool.
and that was actually, it was in Borderlands, and I didn't realize this, but like
Yep.
no one was streaming Borderlands, like none of the actual streamers, not actual streamers, like God bless everyone that streams that category, but like none of like the big names
Yeah,
were
the
streaming.
huge
So
names,
I was
yeah.
actually, I think I was top of the category one night,
Let's
which was
go,
so weird.
bro.
But there's no one in the category. It was like less than 100
You were
people.
peak. Let's.
But,
freaking go. That's sick. That's actually really cool.
I think like the only reason I was able to achieve that was because like we have a mutual friend who kind of like has been popping on Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Um,
She got like 1,400 followers.
oh yeah, and
Cassandra.
Dude,
Cassandra,
that's so
yeah, and she
cool.
was able to like you know
That's
give
so
us a couple
cool.
raids, and like we got some follows from that, and I know that that helped me in terms of like when I'd pop on like see some familiar faces and that sort of thing, which honestly like super cool for them for hanging out, because I play very different games and appeal to a very different audience than Cass
Right.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I felt
so
that.
sweet though.
But it's insane. Her growth was like, I don't know. I feel like some people. I told this to Evan. I feel like some people naturally have a magnetic like
Yeah.
character.
100%. Those are the people that blow up.
And
That's 100%.
no, absolutely. When they like put that to use, and sometimes it's not even like conscious. On Twitch, it just like brings back results. I think that's what happened. When she started Twitch, my initial reaction was like, "Oh, dude, you should, because you were meant for this." You know.
It's true.
And it's just crazy. Like in not even a year, she already has 1,000 like.
That's
1,000
so
plus.
cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Dang. Good for
We
her.
should shout her out on the chat.
Dude, I don't know what her handle is.
Yeah, we'll put it in the comments later.
All right, yeah, it'll be in the description. Shout out to somebody who's way more popular than us. She doesn't need any more clout, bro. Chill.
Yeah,
Stop.
let's chillax.
Yeah,
Let's shout out
no.
our own channel.
Yeah, hold on.
No, don't shout out my channel. I haven't streamed in a while.
I'm gonna link Paulo 10 times, and that's gonna be
Oh my
it. That's
God.
that's the whole description. It's just his link 10 times in a row, and then Evan just surrounding.
You should link my Instagram and said, "Ooh,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll put in. Yeah,
If y'all want to
actually
see
true.
some freaking beautiful art, you need to go to
Some
like
actually
you.
mind-blowing
This
stuff.
is not a. This shouldn't be a choice for you. You need to go to this
Yeah.
man's Instagram. Like,
You're-
oh my
you're curious
gosh.
at this point,
Like, do
because-
yourself a favor. Like, this man is so talented.
I did my whole first stream on just his art background, so that should say something at least. I would say. So yeah, go check him out because he's
Oh,
great.
Thanks, guys.
But then
Thank you.
Evan's Twitch, we're gonna make sure we link it because
Yes, sir.
he might stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Again?
mean, maybe.
Whenever
maybe
it's
we'll
convenient.
pick it back up. Yeah, whenever it's convenient. I mean, I like, kind of maybe in the next like maybe towards August, maybe I'll stream some. I don't know. We'll see.
Heck yeah, you kind of have like a lot of big life things coming up too.
Yeah, there's a
So
lot
I
going
think
on.
I don't want to pressure you because I feel like you got enough on your plate already. So we won't guarantee that Evan's gonna do anything, but if he does stream, you know where to find him. You will know. Look in the description.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Hell
see.
yeah.
Let me find
I'm
a
gonna
couple
get
more
a-
things.
Get another more.
Yeah, I might get one.
Real quick.
Oh, yo.
Do you want
Yeah,
one?
yes,
would you
please,
like
yes.
one? All right.
I'll do some solo entertainment. I'm gonna switch mics. I'm gonna see what this one's like. I'm on this mic now. This one picks up so heavy. I love it. Okay, quick little intermission while everyone gets some drinks. My apologies for the live stream. I think we kind of dropped off a few times. I think I fixed my internet today, so I think in terms of the actual sustainability of that fix might not have been flame, but I'm recording it, so you can listen to everything unedited, uninterrupted afterwards. So I'll stitch all that back together. Also, thoughts on the music. I want to hear if you guys enjoyed the music. I kind of just got it off of someone else who's done a couple streams before, and they just like threw up some copyright music on Apple Music. So if you guys like that music, let me know because I'd love to hear some feedback on that. And then topics for next time. I don't know who will be the guest next time. I'm hoping we can bring some of the boys back. Evan and Paul will have to come back. Maybe some solo episodes. Maybe another collab.
Ooh.
But topics for them for next time, throw that in the comments if you want. And let's see. There was one other big thing I wanted to talk about. Yo, this is like totally different topic, but
Okay.
I'm gonna address it anyways. So, Corona. What happened?
Great beer company, by the way.
Yo. Yeah, dude. Wait. Keep the ads coming in. Keep the ads coming in. Say it's beer.
Corona
Beer, yeah.
cerveza.
So
Sorry, that might have been offensive. I apologize if it was to you.
no, they'll be okay. I don't know about you guys, but basically, I want to say 3 months ago, I lived on a different planet, actually. Completely different planet. There were just all these aliens everywhere, and everyone didn't want to get close to me. And now it's just we're back to normal. What's the deal? Any thoughts? I'll tell you my theory.
Yeah, you
okay?
go first.
Okay, so here's what happened. I'll give you a quick synopsis, all right? So, Corona happened, right? Everyone enjoyed as they quoted, alone time for 6 months or so. Like, that was the enjoyment period, okay? 6 months, I would say, is like the max for most people. Usually people enjoyed a little bit less, but let's say 6 months, okay? Enjoyed the first 6 months, right? Found a new hobby, redecorated the greenhouse. Let's say whatever it was, okay?
Okay.
And then right after that, okay, it was like, all right, where are we going with this? Like, are we coming to the end? Are we going to are we looking at another 6 months? I think was a big question. It's like, another 6? Like, there's no way we can live through another 6. A toleration period, okay? Let's say that's the next 6 months. The toleration period lasted 6 more, okay? Where it was just like, we're uncomfortable, but I'll push through, okay? That year, that 12 months was up in like February, March,
Okay.
for in general, okay?
Yeah, I think for us it was like late March, right?
Yeah, late March, early
Mid to
April
late
was for
March.
us,
Yeah.
which is like lines up basically. So like that 12-month period ended, right? And I think everyone just said, "Okay, I'm done. Like, no more." And it wasn't that we had vaccines. It's not that everyone had antibodies. It was just like the 12 months is up, and I don't care anymore. I'm done. I am absolutely zero. Now I'm not gonna give my personal opinion on this. Well, maybe I will, but we'll see. We'll see if I want to. But what do you guys? Is that how you guys saw it happen? Because that's how I've seen it from my perspective.
Okay. So, I think I have something to say here, which is that I think I've had a little more of a global, not a global, but like out of a single country,
Yeah.
like a multinational perspective, because I was outside the U.S. in that 12-month period.
Yeah.
So, I went out when it was still early. Went into a different country when it was much later for them, like they locked down earlier,
Yeah.
and then came back at a sort of later time in US's like lockdown period. And like those 3 instances were so different from each other. What I realized is that maybe here, I think it had to do with the vaccine. Like, I don't know. That's just my take, but right now everywhere else, I think, because I hear back to you from the Philippines,
Yeah.
it's still kind of a big deal. Like,
oh, okay.
I think in UAE they're still pretty like, because they're taking it seriously. They don't want to prematurely like go out and then all of a sudden boom, like thousands of
ruin
people
it
are
all.
dying.
Right.
So that's my view of things. It's like maybe just here, like people have this sort of like, how do I say this, like backlash kind of reaction towards quarantining, lockdown, any preventative measures. Everywhere else, I feel like people are more down to be like, okay, wait, it's not yet over, or shoot, I would rather stay inside for now and still wear a mask while I'm still out. I'm actually kind of surprised people aren't wearing masks anymore.
Yeah, dude, it's gone. Like, pretty much.
'Cause-
entirely.
Because I, like, back in New Jersey, I still wear masks every time I'm out. I don't know. I just don't really... I don't want to feel I don't want to act like it's over until like we get a definitive like,
Yeah.
hey guys, by the way, it's over. I don't know if we ever got that.
I don't think we ever will. I hate to say, I don't want to be like negative Nancy over here, but like,
Huh.
because I don't think we ever will, because it's never gonna be that way. You know, it's never not gonna be existent. It's never not gonna be a problem.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I mean, like,
The
I feel
disease
that way.
itself is going to be around, but
Yeah,
it's just a matter if people are vaccinated.
Not
The pandemic will go away. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
that's what I'm
Oh,
talking
I
about.
see what you're saying.
starting to
Okay.
already. But
like, the flu has been around.
Yeah, it's
But
one
the
of those.
Spanish flu has ended for a while now.
Oh, I
you know
gotcha.
what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah.
very true.
I
Yeah.
get it now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I gotta agree with a lot of what Paulo says. Like, I mean, in a lot of parts of the world, like even in Europe right now, like they're just getting vaccines over there, from what I know. Like at least in the UK, like it's still like, I mean, people are still unvaccinated over there.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, I mean, my sister right now, she's in med school, so she's been keeping me pretty well up to date on like what's been going on. But I mean, the thing is right now is like, you know, even if you're vaccinated, you can still get COVID. Like it's totally
right.
something that can happen. You can still get it. Obviously, you can pass it on. The only difference is that when you're vaccinated, the percentage of chance that you will like die or have something like really bad happen to you is like drastically lower.
Significantly lower.
Like drastically. But I mean, you can still get it, feel like crap, that sort of thing. So
Like that hasn't gone away at all. Right?
no.
Okay.
And that, you know, that might just I don't know if that will go away. I'm not sure.
Now I'm gonna pose a bit of like devil's advocate-esque
Oh yes, sir.
in just in the sense of, I think for a lot of people, what has like, I guess, pushed them towards like this new reality, at least in the U.S., right,
Okay.
has been livelihood. Like unemployment was coming through for a lot of people for a little while, but also for a lot of people it never was coming through. Like businesses, for example, small businesses. I mean, like how many times have we heard this before?
Right.
But they've gotten absolutely railed, and like even I would say there was almost this like desperation to like we need people back, like someone has to come back into work, like we need people, customers coming in, because we can't survive like this. So like I've heard this argument a couple times, but do you think it is, whose job is it to keep those businesses alive when we're in a situation like this?
Shoot, that's a big.
The issue is we're not a socialist country, so the government is never going to do that. And that's kind of the issue. Like the government is only going to do so much. Like that's kind of like why I was thinking like America's really not built for this at all. Like
Right?
first of
Yeah.
all, like I mean, like this country was established on principles of freedom. So a lot of people weren't even okay with quarantine in the first place, which, you know, I personally don't believe like at all that makes sense. But for some people it was definitely like an impediment on their personal freedom, and that's
Right.
a very big deal to people in America. That and like capitalism
Right,
does not
capitalism
play
was not-
well into this
yeah,
at all,
we-
because it's all about competition. It's all about being out there, like, you know, making money.
Making your own, like
And-
you have to find a way somehow, whatever that way is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You got to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, and that just like, you know, the
I
fact
think
that
the
everyone had to
adaptation,
quarantine.
like, I think obviously it was way too fast. Like, there's no way we could have adapted to this. But even after this whole 12-month period, I think there was so much resistance to, well, there's no point in adapting. Let's just go back to the way it was before. And I think that's a huge part of what pushed us to, now we're back to normal, if you want to put that in quotes.
Huh.
You know? So it's just like, if we don't go back to normal, capitalism, like, our economy is going to just collapse in on itself.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument for that. I don't know. It's like, I feel like for like certain business areas, like it can be totally fine. Like for example, like the transmission rate when you're outside is extremely low. Like extremely low. Like even if like you're a couple feet away, like the chances of getting outside are very low.
Right.
Whereas like inside, it's like complete opposite. Like, you know, it starts to spike up, especially in like not well ventilated spaces. So
Right.
it's like any business that's like rely on outside, like any like outside markets, that sort of thing. Like maybe there's an argument that that's a little safer, even though that's like a crowd of people. But I don't know. It's just kind of been like our response. Like I feel like it's just economic pressure, kind of like what you've been
I
saying.
agree. Yeah. I think that's been the biggest thing, economic pressure.
Yeah, because that's like starting to, like, there are always people that politically felt one way or another about it, which is, it's so, to me, I apologize, but this is my opinion.
Here we go.
It is, I feel like it, oh my gosh, it's so dumb that I have to say that it's a political opinion, because it should not be. personally. Like, this
So
is
it's not.
science. It shouldn't be, but
Okay.
it has become that way. Wearing a mask has been a political issue.
Yeah.
Quarantining has been a political issue. These should not and really are not political issues.
When you break them down, to like
Yeah.
the reasons why, of course it's not political, but like everyone's gonna find a way, some way, because like if it makes in any way their life worse than it was before, then it's your fault, and you don't have any reason to make that happen. Like that's the logic that they're following.
Yeah.
And like, I mean,
That's
I have
the logic.
absolutely no offense to like I know a lot of friends, family members that feel that way, and like you listen to them and you hear their logic, and like you want to sympathize because they're like I just want to live my life a certain way, and if I'm putting myself at risk, like that should be my choice. Sure, like I get all of that, and it becomes hard to argue with those people because I don't know if I'm totally against what they're saying in that sense, where it's like the whole self-risk thing. Now, they're not saying like if I get it, like I'm the one who's dying, but and then like of course a lot of people say, well, you could hurt someone else, kind of thing. Now, I think that is like a different conversation entirely. But if it's if they're coming from the perspective of like, let me take my life into my own hands, what do you think about that?
I mean, for me, it's the point you brought up. It's like, sure, I could like, yeah, like I mean, I could do that, but morally, like I align more in like if I'm gonna be out there like not honoring any of these like quarantine guidelines or wearing a mask, I'm literally putting other people at risk. I could literally cause someone to die. And for me, morally, like that just doesn't align. Like I'm not gonna do that. Obviously, I'm gonna quarantine and wear a mask because I don't want to be the reason why someone gets COVID and possibly like dies. But I mean, that's I guess for every person to decide for themselves. But that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the thing, right? Like, I think it's very difficult if you're talking practically to separate the two, because
Yeah.
if we're going
they
to
can't really be separate
if we're
in
going
any
to
way.
like dismantle this like rhetoric, like ad absurdum, like make it absurd, make it extreme,
Yeah.
then you can say I want to live the life I want to live.
Oh God.
And maybe that means like I want to like shoot a dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I
That's not funny. I'm not saying it's
I
funny.
might go to jail, and I wanna be able to take that risk. But it's
Yeah.
like that doesn't mean shooting the dog is like a
Right,
good thing
makes
to
it
do.
okay.
Makes it
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I totally
So
get what you're
I
saying.
think that argument, like it's definitely an argument that seeks empathy. Like
100%. Yeah.
it's definitely like, come on, feel bad for me. Like I'm not
Like my life
I'm-
isn't as good. Come on.
it's not even that. Like it's not even pathetic. It's just like it's an argument that I think kind of disregards like the context and the practicality and the logic really, and it's just a sort of like a grab for like sympathy. It's just like, please understand, I'm not able to live the life I want to live, and I like you said, I get that. I get
Right,
you're not
yeah,
able.
that's
to.
what I'm saying.
I think the cultural like context that the West has is that because it's so banked on individualism, that instead of seeing this as I want to get back to the way things were because I'm like paying so many costs right now with these conditions, I want to then like just like throw it all out the window and like I'm just gonna act the way I want.
Yeah.
That's the pressure. But I think what's going on is that a lot of countries who don't like kind of grow up from this sort of individualistic standpoint see it more so as this sucks. I'm paying so many costs living this way in these conditions. And so in order to get back to the way things were, I'm going to follow the rules so that we get there as fast as we can. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about small businesses, I think a lot of small business owners, and it's so impossibly difficult to make them understand this way, is that I think one big thing that they might have a benefit from learning is that if you go the other route and be like, okay, I'm just gonna like let this play out and like follow the rules, I might be able to resurrect my business if we get there faster. But
Yeah.
but it's so hard to make them understand
Right.
that because
And
it's like
so hard to tell someone.
they're
that,
just seeing millions of dollars and years of like work being thrown into the sink.
Right. And I mean, like, in a lot of cases, right? And it's like, it's always very individualistic, but a lot of cases where you have, right, whoever owns, like, let's say it's like a company that owns like a clothing shop out of a building, right? And the tenant is the clothing shop, but whoever's owning that building, maybe it's like, hey, if you don't make the rent payment next month, like, I don't get to eat. So, like, you need to make the rent payment. And if you can't make the rent payment, I'm kicking you out. That's like the cases where those small businesses are like, if I don't get money this month, like, I can't wait.
Right.
I need money now.
Absolutely.
You know, like, that's the hard questions.
That's why my best answer right now to your first question, like, who should bail, essentially bail
Yeah.
these small businesses out, I think it's the local community. That's like not the perfect answer, but I think it's the best answer I can come up with. So, like, renters, you know, like,
Right.
like
No, I
customers, people around the business, like stakeholders of the business, if they see their favorite business or their, like, renter or rentee
Yeah.
or leasee
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or whatever
Mhm.
is about to go down the drain, I think if you help them out, when all of this is over, they might, like, you know,
Right, of
like,
course,
reward you.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to go about it. I don't necessarily think the government is going to do anything. Maybe they will, maybe
Yeah.
they won't. But I think the local community has the best shot at keeping these businesses alive.
I think that's a really good point. And
Yeah.
I think what Evan said originally was totally true in the fact that the government can't step in that drastically to save everyone. It's just not going to happen.
It's not how our nation is built. I mean, that's not how capitalism works.
Yeah, and there's not enough resources. There
Yeah.
really simply is not. But like you're saying, if you go to, like, those local,
Yeah,
like,
because that's not part of the
communities,
free market, right?
right? Yeah, and
It's
then
not like a governing agency being like, oh, we're going to bail this guy out. It's literally the customers being like, we need this business.
yeah, we
to
want
stay
you to
afloat.
be here.
Yeah.
The issue is that line of "we need this" becomes lower and lower as they are suffering the same
Yeah.
fate as the people in the business, right? They're struggling to make a living. They're struggling to eat, put food on the table.
Yeah.
How are you going to ask them to give money to this local business when they don't have enough money to feed their own family,
Right? Yeah.
or to pay rent?
Yeah.
I can see
And that's the issue, is like that line dropped so
Yeah,
low
as
that so
time
many
goes over,
so many
yeah.
businesses didn't hit the mark for them.
Yeah, they never made it.
And then, you know, it's just out the
Or
door.
they were in the mark for the first 6 months, right? But then, you know, once they realized how long this is really going to take, it was just like 6 more months passed, and we lost a lot more people, businesses, everything. So, not to bring up such a drastically horrible note, I was just curious because it is such a, I think, impactful part of, like, especially what's happening right now. And it's the impossible question. Like, I think if you go around, that's the impossible question. It's like, what should we have done, first of all? And what can we do now, moving forward? Because
Yeah.
even now, I mean, we're still not in a great spot.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of like think about it like it's almost as if like a natural disaster, like a hurricane, like a light hurricane hit every part of the earth, you know? Because it's like, that's just like, it's not like nature's going to pay for that in any way.
Yeah.
Like that just happened,
Right?
you know? So it's like there's nowhere that money really can come from. It's only kind of getting like
Printers, baby. The
I guess,
printers,
but then I mean, then you
Just
then you
kidding,
have a
just
post World War One
kidding.
Germany
Yeah.
situation.
No, yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that.
Nah, just like them going fully bankrupt as a country. But
That was epic. I mean,
it's like, bro, we'll pay off our debt. We'll just tank our currency, bro.
Oh my god.
That was a baller move.
That was. I mean, it was an idea.
It was an idea.
Like when I learned about that in school, I was like, dude, that's so big baller move. Like, yo, how are we gonna pay these guys back? Just print more money. It's like that meme. They're never gonna know. And then
Yeah.
someone's like, they're gonna know. No, they'll never gonna know.
I think there are some benefits that, like, was indirectly paid off by this natural occurrence. Like, I don't know if that's a controversial statement. I think there are some
No,
benefits.
there's always someone that benefits. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how. Yeah, it's how it
like-
always works.
I feel like, for instance, a lot of industries came out of this cutting out a lot of fat. Like,
It's true.
I think after this, we'll, like, start to maybe see how we can, like, make work more efficient.
Very, very
It
good
already
point.
has become
Very
that way.
good point. Yeah, the whole working remotely has flipped the tables.
Yeah.
Really. And a lot of people are going to see this, like, become the rest of their, like, careers, is, like, working from home. And I imagine, in many cases, from at least people that I've talked to, it's preferred that way. They enjoy it much more being rather than going into an office. Like, so yeah, it really has completely changed the game, which is really cool. So
I think that's true. I was actually talking to a coworker today, and he was like, "Yeah, like I know people that work like certain office jobs where they're just messing with Excel spreadsheets all day, and they realized with COVID that like a 40-hour work week can be condensed into 20 hours when you're actually like productive
seriously,
and working." So
yeah. What you
like,
can
I think-
accomplish in 40 hours.
yeah,
I mean.
I think a lot of like efficiency is gonna be added here just because it had to be. Like that's where it kind of like I don't know. That's the part of like humanity that you're like, oh yeah, that's so cool. Like just like the fact that we face like this thing that was really like impending and like affecting us in such a negative way, and the solution was just to be better, right? Like just to be more efficient, just to like if you can't cut it out anywhere else, then we'll just have to like
you
know
have to adapt.
I
and
like
put it into
that.
ourselves.
It's really cool.
I like that. I want to see more of that. I think.
Yeah, I think we're still on that track. I mean, I think so many things are ever changing, especially right now, because we tested a lot of theories during that time, right? And I think a lot of those theories are now going to like become enacted into like future society, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole working remotely thing. It was kind of like a test run, but a lot of businesses are like, that worked out pretty well, and like maybe we should just do this forever from now on, And like that changes the game.
Right. Yeah.
And I think a lot of like
hope so.
services, like what we've seen with pretty much any delivery service, a lot of groceries, like just, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but people just generally staying farther away from me no matter what, and like being really cleanly, like, oh, I'm gonna clean off this, I'm gonna clean off that, like I'm gonna care about my germs going to you. That's probably a good thing to keep forever.
Honestly, I feel like other countries, have already been doing this
they
for
were
a
already
while.
there. They were already.
They've been doing this for a while, and it's only like okay, yeah, but that's besides the point. But like,
Yeah, I mean, there's always the counter argument with that like, oh, I got to build up my immune system and that sort of thing. And here's the thing. There is validity to that to some extent, but I do agree. Like, I think that's definitely like a positive that came out of it. Like people just being more aware of their cleanliness and that
100%.
things. And I mean, I knew like I had friends growing up that like their parents or them like they would wear masks out in public, just like if they weren't feeling well, or just because like they're going to a crowded place, like it wasn't abnormal to them.
I always thought it was. I always thought it
always
was
been in the
such like a
States.
respectful thing to do. If you ever saw someone who was sick wearing one, I was like,
oh, absolutely,
dude, you are
Yeah.
like the best.
Yeah.
You're the best. Thank you.
That's how it is in. I heard that's how it is in Japan. It's like
very common. In
it's
Japan.
like if you're sick, like people don't wear the mask to avoid being sick. People wear the mask to prevent others from being sick.
Which is what it should be. Like that's what the mask does.
But I also feel like that comes as a byproduct of like Japanese culture being a little more
dude, respect.
like community based as opposed to like individually based.
Yeah.
Like here in the West.
They care so much about everyone else, which I think is awesome.
I think it's awesome. There's definitely
There's drawbacks.
yeah, there's definitely going to be like transaction costs being like community based.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be transaction costs being individually based. You're gonna have to like find a
There's got to be a
balance in
middle ground.
between,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it was such like a big conversation here, because all of a sudden like this is a type of natural occurrence that tests people who are individualistic.
big time.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing I wanted to say, because I really like your idea that like when human beings like face adversity, they become more resilient, they become more efficient. I think one thing that I really don't like to see, that we've been seeing I think constantly during this whole time, is that it's another property of human beings that they're a little bit resistant when it comes to like change, especially when it comes to like comfortable like scenarios, and when you try to change that a little bit, there's always going to be inertia a little bit. And I was surprised that something this big like still incurred that much inertia,
Dude, yeah. I mean, you are surprised that it incurred that much?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Really?
Like we're talking thousands were dying. Like we were like surpassing certain numbers back in like the 20th century. That's big.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's huge.
This didn't surprise me at all in terms of the amount of like drawback or like the amount of resistance we felt because of the people
it's like
that I
you kind
grew
of
up
see
with.
it coming.
Because I looked at my whole hometown and I was like, there's no way any of these people follow that. No chance. No shot.
Shoot.
And like, I know that my hometown, right? there's thousands and thousands all over America that are exactly like that hometown. There's people that are like in that tight knit community that are like, we're gonna listen to ourselves only, and science doesn't matter. It's about like, did neighbor Bob tell me I need to wear a mask? Because if he said it's fine, it's fine. So like, there's so many of those people.
No,
when I
it's
saw
true.
that much resistance, I was like, this makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me at all. I mean, even if you weren't like exposed to those type of people growing up, which I mean, I knew some people like that growing up because it kind of was country adjacent or small town adjacent.
Yeah.
But not to say that small towns are all like that. It's not what
They're
I'm trying
all
to say.
like
But
that.
but it's just I feel like it's just easier to be like that. It's like it's easier to fall into that. But like part of it, I mean, just the political climate in America, like you could tell, like that this was how this was gonna go down. I mean, like with the Trump administration, like not to go either way about it, but you can't argue that it made America so much more polarized politically, way more than ever. And like it kind of, you could see like sort of these like more extreme perspectives come out, and a lot of those are just like the type of people that, you know, or the type of perspectives that just absolutely resist this as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we've been diverging in that sense for like the last 25 years. I mean, and we've just gotten to, I mean, I'd like to say peak, but I can't say it. I can't say if this is actually going to be the end of it. But I know that we've been diverging that whole time.
Due to social media echo chambers, I'm telling you.
Okay, you
that's mine.
This is a
Whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, fuck.
I'm about to go off right now. Like,
Yo, don't
like,
go off.
Let's not. Yeah, we gotta save this for another podcast because I will literally rant about this shit.
Dude, same. I will literally rant about this. Like I've felt this way for a long time.
Wait, okay, social media, what?
Social media creates echo chamber. So brief summary, basically.
Yeah, give me a summary. Give me a synopsis.
So the advent of social media, like while it can connect people of different perspectives and it can make us more globally aware, because of how social media algorithms work, it will pair you with people who are like-minded, right?
100%. Yep.
And because of that, they can justify your, and it can start small, but your slightly more radical thoughts can be justified and like more solidified within your, you know, your psyche. And as that continues, like these radical thoughts can be built upon to the point to where you feel like there's like justification for action, extreme action, based on these thoughts. And social media has just accelerated that to an insane level, because now like, oh, like my neighbor might not believe this, but this person like in you know, random state or random city, like he believes me and he's my friend. So like, dude, we're gonna do this. And
no.
That sort of effect has really, I think, caused a lot of this radicalization and polarization of like ideas that we've seen.
I could totally see that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Wait, I want to add to that real quick.
Yeah, throw it in.
Okay, so I'm not gonna repeat what he just said, but I want to add to it, and it's this: once you get subjected to that polarization, this is what happens, dude. I hate this. This is my assumption on like people, but I think this is true. I think that polarizing opinions, polarizing ideas are just generally more attractive too. They're attractive. We click onto those things.
Oh yeah.
We click on them.
It's not the
we,
norm.
We watch them. It just feeds onto our like, I think like natural psyche, and companies, they understand that.
Oh yeah.
And
they've
so-
been analyzing it for years. Of course.
It's not just like echo chambers naturally forming. It's like it's that, and then on top of that, it's like mainstream media also knowing the fact that you're a sucker for this shit. You're gonna eat that shit up, and so they push that shit onto you too. And and they make money off of it. I think that's the worst part too. It's like we're, as people participating in the market, we're saying like that we prefer you feed us polarizing ideas.
Because it works. It sells.
It's just like
I hate to say it, but
it's a spiral, man. I hate that, dude. We gotta move it on to the next podcast, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's about to lose
I mean,
it, man.
yeah, quick last point about news. I mean, news used to be like just one guy unbiasedly just like reading off of like a pamphlet of like, hey, this is what happened. And just for 20 minutes.
Yo.
Nowadays, news is literally trying to just get your views. It's all about ratings. It's all about money. It's entertainment. It's not educational anymore.
Yo,
and that's the problem.
I don't know if you guys went to church much when you were younger, but do you remember by chance, there's a guy usually at some point during the mass, right, that reads like the announcements of the church.
Before it ends.
Yeah, right
Oh
before it
my
ends, he just
God.
lets you know like what's kind of going on, and it's very like cut and dry, black and white, where it's just like, I mean, like I don't want to get morbid, but like this person passed away last week, and then they're like, we're gonna have a breakfast at the firehouse like this coming Sunday. That's what I guess that's what you're describing as it used to be like that, bro. Imagine if it was reflected like that now in church.
You need to come to this breakfast, bro. We got bacon. We got all you
Cardi
can
B is
eat.
gonna sing at this breakfast. No cap.
Honestly, I didn't like those announcements.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I thought. I'm like, how about we end the mass first, and then you say your bullshit
Bro,
announcements that I don't give a fuck about.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, damn,
I was
that's
gonna.
harsh, bro.
Yeah, we tease it now. But yeah, no, you knew that they wouldn't end the mass before they announce everything.
Oh yeah, they had
Because
to
they're like, wait, everyone's still here. Announcements,
Bro.
and you're like, wait, announcement.
Church has got to sell out, bro. They gotta, they gotta sell out.
Honestly, this was like the medieval version of like the shout out, you know?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, it's
so
like
shout out to all
it's
these
like
announcements.
not while you're still here, you know, check this guy out or check this out, you know?
Dude, yeah.
Right?
And then okay, let's end the stream.
No,
Yo.
no, it's true. Churches are the most profitable business in the world.
That's actually
Just
true.
let
dude.
let that sit for a little bit.
Yeah. Let that sink in for a second. But I love it because it just reminds me of so many videos on pretty much videos on anything, but where they just start out and they're like, they give you like 3.5 seconds worth of content where you're like, the content starts, you're like, yes. And they're like, this stream is sponsored by, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, wait a minute. Where did this come from? Like,
Bro, then you get hit with the YouTube ad right after.
yeah, right afterward, you're like, all right, I'm done. I'm not watching this video anymore. You X out of the browser.
I mean, it's still alright because like when that happens and it's someone you love,
Dude,
like,
yeah. Then I'm
it's
like, all right,
okay, yeah,
revenue for this man.
yeah.
Let's
I'm
go.
I'm glad you're getting your your bag, but at the same time, also like I also won't ever buy that product ever.
Yeah. I'm like, when have I ever bought anything that anyone has ever advertised on YouTube? Not once.
I don't think I ever have.
Answer, not once.
Yeah.
But you
I
know,
mean,
good
it's
for them.
rough.
Good on them. I
like,
should just
dude.
like. I feel like, is there any way that those advertising companies truly believe that they bring in customers?
The wild
Oh,
thing
absolutely.
is,
Do they?
and I feel like they probably do, but the wild thing is like certain companies, like they just sponsor everybody.
right? Yeah.
And you're
you
like-
see, like four
Like even
creators
like
in a
people
row.
that are like
You're like
really small.
NordVPN. No,
Whoa,
how is
that's not-
everybody?
Bro.
How is everybody
Bro, it's
sponsored
like-
by NordVPN?
But it's like everyone and their mother drinks G Fuel. You already
yeah,
know.
dude.
Like
G Fuel. Stop with the fucking G Fuel.
Anybody-
Like, I get it. Okay, it tastes delicious. Yeah, sure.
Anybody who
It's
owns,
glorified pre-workout for gamers.
dude. Anybody who owns
I'm
a
just
device
saying.
that has a
Literally, stop.
processor- Anybody who owns a device that has a processor owns Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid
Shadow Legends.
Oh my god.
At least, like, I hate to say it, but we all know 'em.
But it's like
I'm
it's-
never gonna buy them.
No, that's true. It's like we know.
I mean,
It's like
I-
it's worked. We
Yeah,
know.
like, I guess if anyone
might
walked up
not
to me and
buy
was like,
it,
yo,
but
do you know any
we
like
know.
gamer fuel? I'd be like, G Fuel.
Yeah.
I know G Fuel. I actually have like 10.
It's like, dude, just like drink a normal energy drink or just like not.
You
'cause
don't
they're
need
really
an
bad.
energy drink. You're playing video games.
Yeah.
Go
don't
to
drink-
bed.
Don't
If you're
actually-
tired, sleep.
Don't actually drink energy drinks. They're really bad for you.
Yeah,
but, you know.
actually, stop. What are you doing? G Fuel? You gotta be joking me.
Oh my god.
That's it. I won't go too far into that because I do not. I think that's the stupidest thing ever. But no,
Dude.
I'm gonna stop.
To be honest though, I actually have installed Raid Shadow Legends.
Yo, stop.
Yo, how many hours you got?
Yeah.
Like,
How deep in are
literally
you?
1 hour.
How was that 1 hour? Was it life
So
changing?
I want to explain this real quick. Just so that,
Were you raiding shadows?
Oh, absolutely not. You, know?
You became a
I
legend?
didn't raid at all. But here's the
Oh.
thing. Like, Cass got sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Stop. That can't be real life.
No, it's
That
real.
was real, yeah.
It was real.
So-
And so I was like, look, this is a person that like I was friends with for a while. Like I am still friends with her. She means a lot, and
Dude,
I want
the
to support her
The
stream.
support. Wow.
So-
legend.
Literally, it could have been any game, but it happened to be Raid, right? And I'm just like, fuck this game. I'm just gonna install it, and I'm gonna play through the tutorial just so that she can get the bag. You know what I mean?
Go. Wow, what a friend. Holy shit. Legend.
I feel like it's because she's also trying to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair.
Like if I made it big on Twitch.
be there for the homies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I would want someone to be like hyped for me like that. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, dude. Yes, you need those people.
So that's why I did it. So I don't know if that counts.
I think that counts. You played.
Oh yeah.
You
know
played,
what?
but you
I'm
played
just-
for the right reasons.
I'm just a normie now, dude.
yeah. You're a Raid Shadow
Normie
Legend.
culture.
No, if I was gonna shout out any game, it has to be a game that's free. So do not play Raid Shadow Legends. Do not.
Anti-sponsorship.
Anti-sponsorship. I will
Dude,
never be sponsored
it's
by
so
Raid Shadow
funny,
Legends.
like-
hear me now.
There are some content creators out there, like, actually that I love, like, that, like, their content is kind of, like, so obscene that they just, like, can't get sponsored. Like, the sponsors are like, I just can't in good conscience sponsor you because of what you do on stream, dude. Like, I don't even know. And it's like,
That's who you
that's
wanna
great, right?
Yeah, you want to strive to be that person.
But then imagine if somebody sponsors that person regardless.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh shit, this company's pretty cool.
Dude, true. That's like, okay, I actually do know.
But I still won't buy their product.
Yeah. But like, you hear their sponsor and you're like, wait, I've actually never heard of them before. And then it's like some like whack ass like earbud company, and you're like, okay, like, do they actually work? Do they work?
I'm talking about Raycon.
Yeah, Raycon.
Raycon.
Raycon was
Wireless earbuds.
You know,
Like,
I
I'm like,
actually,
stop.
you know, I actually bought your Raycon earbuds. They're right there, right now. I guess.
I'm
How
not.
they
I'm
work?
not gonna
How
ask.
they
I'm
work?
not gonna ask how they are.
Dude, I guess I am a normie.
Don't tell.
Shoot, he's got Raid Shadow Legends
Did you use
installed.
it? Did you use it?
And Raycon.
Do you-
Did you use the?
I know you.
content
I know you got a
code?
beautiful beard, but do you use Dollar Shave Club by
Oh.
chance?
I actually did.
If I hear another Manscaped ad, if I hear another Manscaped ad, I am quitting the internet.
Look,
Bro, the
here's-
Lawnmower 8.0
Stop!
is coming out now.
Stop! I hate how unapologetic they are. Like, sure, that's cool, I guess, for like one ad, but all of their ads are over the top unapologetic.
I also feel,
I'm uncomfortable. Stop talking about it.
I also feel like they play off of this like weird idea of how guys are a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's have a hot girl talk about an ad for like. All right, I'm gonna stop there. You can already feel the discomfort in my
Yeah,
voice.
it's just
Like, what?
weird.
That's not. No, those never went together ever.
And they always play off this fucking rhetoric. Oh man, it's just like really cringy, like what a normie would think guys would like buy into.
Yeah.
And it's things like, you know, guys, if you trim the bush, the tree will look taller. And I'm just like, yeah. And I'm just,
Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life, bro. That was so good.
And you're like, bro, did you just say that? Did you
It's
say
just
that
like-
to me for an advertisement?
it's just like, dude, when are you gonna stop saying the same thing? Like literally, like by like 2025, we'll have like the lawnmower 50,
And
and
how
then
many
they're still
lawnmowers does that
they're
sell?
still gonna say, hey, you know, you should trim the bush. Oh my god.
You know, like,
Ugh.
I don't get it.
You know who's the OG though?
Who's been around
Bro,
forever?
OxyClean, dude. Y'all remember that stuff, bro? Anytime you're watching cable,
Oh, dude, yeah, they were on it,
it's
bro.
like
That was a
OxyClean.
win.
Did you absolutely destroy your pan? Bro,
Bro, and it was just a huge. Okay,
Yeah.
it was either the huge tubs that they would just dump something in, and it would be instantly white, and you're like, yo, that's actually kind of
Yeah.
lit.
I mean, it's just gotten more extreme. I mean, the Flex Seal, like,
Dude,
this man's
flex
literally
tape is
sawing-
the most lit thing I've
sawing
ever
a boat in half.
seen. Yes.
It's like, I appreciate it for the meme content, but the fact that it's like unapologetically gone from like serious straight to meme
Yeah,
at
I
that
love-
level,
I love
and
it.
it's still going, dude.
I love it so, dude. Yeah, there's still
Yeah.
there's still so
It's-
many advertisements. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
only
honestly,
other thing I can think of-
respect.
The pans, right? The pans where they would they start the advertisement, right? They put the pan down and then just grab like either a blowtorch or just a big ass piece of steel and they just start scraping the pan and they're like, look, it just doesn't ever get destroyed.
It's like, bro, you know I love to steal my egg,
Yeah,
to stir
yeah,
my eggs
I
with
just
that
fucking-
steel I-beam, bro.
Yeah, I just grind on my
Yeah.
pans. I hope it doesn't break. It's made out of diamonds now or something. Those were the best advertisements.
It's like, dude, I gotta flambe my eggs with this blowtorch.
Right? Or they had a knife and there was a tomato and the knife would just smash the tomato. It wouldn't cut anything. And you're like, there's no knife that's that bad. Like, there's not a knife that's
Dude,
that
yeah,
bad.
infomercials, like, they create problems that don't exist. It's
Dude,
so
I
funny.
love it. They're like, does your knife not cut anything but your hands?
It's like, do
Here's a
you,
knife that'll cut everything.
it's like, do you hate cutting hard-boiled eggs to the point to where you want to buy this kitchen gadget that's gonna take up an annoying amount of space and be used once every 3 years.
When you decide to make a hard-boiled egg.
Yeah,
or you get one from a
it's like,
party.
dude, I've never made a hard-boiled egg before. Like, I don't know.
But
Like,
if you did, look.
boom, there it
Whoa.
is. Yeah.
Wow. I love it. I honestly wish we were back in those days. Those were better
The infomercial
than
days.
any of the
Dude,
commercials now.
the one that always got me was like the copper pans or whatever, because it's like
Dude, they
they'll
look-
like
they look
no
good.
oil. They'll just like put an egg in there and
Oh,
it
yeah.
slides around
And
like
they're just,
nothing. And
A
it's
big
like,
ass piece of cheese, they fry it, and then it just slides around. You're like, no.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing to my cheese, dog? Like, that's not normal.
They're starting their grilled cheese thing, just cheese in the pan, and then toast right on top of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are the best, bro. Oh my god. Take us back. Take me back to those days, and I think I would be a happy camper.
Dude, you should imagine how I feel, because I didn't spend a lot of time in the U.S. before college, right? I only ever visited
Right.
every now and then.
Yeah.
So in those every now and thens, when I like catch like a glimpse of like cable TV, like American
my
cable
God.
TV, and like an ad or an infomercial comes up, I'm like, wait, this is actually more interesting than the actual show we're watching.
Dude,
They should
yes.
just have a channel running ads nonstop. It's funny. Like, people actually
And
make
they
it
follow
funny.
similar formats, like depending on the time frame. So like, I think there was like a full year's period where I think every single advertisement, right, would start with somebody doing something. Okay, it would be in black and white.
Yes.
Right. And then
Yes.
the big X.
The big
somewhere.
red
And
X,
they're
dude.
like, don't do
Don't
this.
do
Like,
this.
You don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
And then boom, color on the person who has the product.
They're
And there's a
smiling,
big-
they're happy,
so
dude.
Happy, and there's a big check mark, and they're like, "Look at that."
Dude, that then at the end, 18 payments of $19.99. It's like it was always X many payments of $19.99, dude,
Because
for
like they
everything.
realized putting the full price on anything just wasn't the move. So then they're like, "Okay, so how many times should we divide it?"
You're like,
yeah,
yeah. It's like, how far can we abstract this price so that dumb people will think that it's cheap?
yeah, they're like, so let's see, 56 payments of $24.95, and then if we don't tell them about the shipping cost and the taxes, okay.
Oh,
and
but then they'll
there's-
throw
there's
in
also
this-
a service fee. But we just say all that really fast at the end. Oh, okay.
But then to make it sound good, we'll throw in this absolutely useless thing that's not related to our product at all that you will never use in your entire life.
And you get. Oh yeah, you're never gonna use that. But you get it. You get that for free.
It's free.
I love that shit. Dude. Me and my parents used to watch TV, and whenever they get to the end of the ad, we'd be like, "Wait, there's more!" And then they always
But
say it.
wait.
They would always say it. There would always be more.
Dude, it's so much. I don't understand. Like, I mean, I guess I get it. It's all marketing, but I don't understand the obsession with .99.95 cents. Like, just round that shit up, man. Like,
Canada, no,
like-
no.
like just say it's 20
It's not
bucks.
$100.
Don't say it's 19.99.
No.
Say it's 20 bucks, dude. Like,
Oh,
I'm
dude,
tired of
That
that.
cuts deeper than 19.
Oh my God.
It's true.
There's an actual like psychological thing going on over there, and it's that when you look at that 1999 thing for the first instance, you actually just see the one
True.
in the
And you're
9.
like, oh, so it's under.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
But
it's cheap.
but like what if they put the 20, you'll definitely see a 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see the 2 and you're like, ooh.
You see the 2 and you're like, oh wait a second, that's 2 like
That's
that's 2 times like an order of magnitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Double my price.
I feel like there's some reverse psychology. Like, like food trucks or something, they'll just put one number, like $5. And
Oh,
they'll
yeah,
only
and
include the
there's no
5.
decimal,
And then
it's
you're
just
like,
that.
dude, that shit's small. But
Yeah,
then you
like
see
one
something that's like
digit.
$3.98 and you're like, dude, I don't know. Like this extra
You're like-
98 cents, like what am I paying
Yeah,
for here?
yeah,
Like, am I
yeah.
paying for the pineapples? Like,
Right? Dude,
what's
I
going on
totally
with
feel
this?
that.
Like,
Food trucks are the best when they do that. When they just have the single digit. I love
oh
that.
yeah.
I think that's a great aesthetic.
Makes tipping so much easier, bro. Like, no one's going to account for those 5 cents, those like 13 cents or whatever.
Right?
I think it has a good aesthetic too. Like it's good like practically, it's good aesthetically as well.
You know the occasional time when you don't actually pay sales tax? Like, you like get rung up and it's like $15. And you're like,
You're like,
15,
whoa.
like 0. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, okay.
That's great.
Then you look for cash and you never have.
Also, while the 1999, like sure, for the first moment, the one is like, oh, it's only like
Oh, yeah.
$10 or whatever. The next moment for me is, dude, that shit sus. That right there is infomercial price.
Oh, yeah.
I know that shit's a
Yeah,
scam.
yeah. Wait
Like
a minute.
immediately,
The
like
real price.
1999. Like no, there's no way. Like that's red flags.
Right,
Red
absolutely.
flags come up.
That's a good point.
Absolutely, but like
You're conditioned though.
you're also like maybe like the tail end of the distribution.
True.
I'm too meta for
Yeah.
infomercial stuff.
They're not their target audience. Their target audience is grandmas who see the one and they're happy. One, hell yeah.
I mean, I'm the guy that has a garlic press that still just chops my garlic 90% of the time because I either forget or I'm like, dude, it's not that much work. Like, I'll just do it. Like, I don't know.
Oh, pulling out the garlic press, putting it in, cleaning the garlic press after.
And honestly, I'm like, garlic presses are great. Like, they're so useful.
Dude,
But
they're
still-
they're like actually life changing.
Yeah, but I
feel
still
the same way.
don't use it most of the time, honestly.
Lily has one. I just forget we have it. And then you don't sharpen the garlic, and then you see it in the drawer, and you're like,
I mean, I think it's also
I
just
didn't
fun
use it.
chopping the garlic, you know?
I can't relate.
You get those chef vibes. You're just like, I'm a chef right now, bro. I can
No,
chop
it's
some.
like, I just
I
think,
can
"Oh,
mince
my
some
hands are gonna
garlic."
Smell like garlic for 5 days
Yeah.
after this. Fuck.
It's so fun.
Okay, so you know how like I mentioned earlier that
Mhm.
like I have this sort of foreign view on infomercials and ads.
Mhm.
When I first saw the black and white like format and then the X and then it turns to colored when they
You loved
present the solution.
You loved it.
I mean, I loved it, but I also wondered like I wonder if there's some sort of like psychological like substance behind this. Like maybe someone like did psychological research and
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
what if
Oh,
what
yes.
what happens when you take out the color? Do people like associate it with negativity? And then like
Someone did a full study on that, guaranteed.
and then presented it to like big company.
Yeah. They're like,
All right,
I did
here-
a study with 10,000 people,
This
and 8,000 of them said that they felt a little sad when they saw the black and white.
This is what you gotta do. You gotta be like black and white bad, color good. That's what you gotta do, big company.
Big company, black and white, bad. Okay? Color, good. That's it. That's our next move.
I wonder, like, in all seriousness, I wonder how much of it is like, yo, TV used to be black and white, but then we made it color, and it's so much better now.
What if that's
So what if it's like, oh, this is some old shit right here that's
That's
not
fair.
good, and this is the new boy on the block.
It usually
This
is
what's
old
cutting it.
versus new, too.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is true.
That's actually a really
like
good point.
older procedures versus like, hey, check out our new like
Yeah.
like procedure.
So maybe
or
they're saying, like,
solution.
yo, you're living in the past if you're still using this.
That might be it, probably. That you guys, you know what? You guys just big brain.
Boom. Yeah, I was about to say, yo, we got him. Oh, heck yeah. Is there any other topics that I haven't mentioned that you guys wanted to discuss? We kind of ran through quite a.
Dude, we
quite
should
a
just
slew.
roll the credits. Just roll the credits.
Roll the credits. Well, okay. Well, thanks for joining me, everyone. Thanks, boys, for coming by. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. I think we'll have to do something again because I feel like we could talk forever about pretty much anything.
Oh yeah. Dude, I always have fun with this.
Yeah, you already know. Yeah, thanks so much for having us, man.
Dude, yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure. All of their info will be in the description below, and if you guys have any questions, I'll make sure that whatever's in the comments goes to them. So we'll bring them on again.
Dude, thanks guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening.